We are back. We are sorry. We're already off to a bad foot, Mark. When you say only 2 episodes in, we had to take a little hiatus, an unplanned hiatus, but you know, that's what happens when your life is just craziness, I guess. When yeah.
You know, life life happens, and just like pro wrestling, the card is always subject to
Mhm.
change. So it's always about adapting, reacting, readapting, acting. That's what Michael Scott always says. So that's what I say too.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Don't always believe what you see on the dirt sheets, boy. But no, thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of MTPW. We need like a yeah, we need like a cool theme song. We got music friends. We can probably ask them. We'll give them some exposure for the song, so we don't have to pay them. It's, I mean, other than New Year's Bash, I mean, when you say it's been pretty much a lackluster week for wrestling. I mean, nothing really major has been going on. Storylines are
Well,
still
I think
progress. I mean,
I think you mean
sorry,
New Year's
Impact.
Smash,
You keep on
but
changing the year for me. You keep on changing the name on me, man. Because I called it
well, New Year
Dash, and then you said Bash, and I was like, man, I gotta make sure it's Bash. Now it's what is it?
New Year's Dash is the New Japan show, and New Year's I think it's like in my head I want to call it Bash because of the Dusty connection and
That's it, baby.
there's Bash at the beach and all that kind of stuff that AEW is doing. So New Year's Bash sounds pretty cool, but I don't know if they're allowed to use that or not. But it was definitely New Year's Smash.
Smash. Then, oh yeah, and also, I'm sorry, I didn't even pay attention. NXT started with the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the males, which the females are going to be starting next week, or I guess this week. But then Impact had their pay per view, so I'm sorry, I'm just a liar. There was kind of some stuff going on wrestling this week, or last week.
It's been a it's been a full week, and that's why we got to get right to the action.
Yeah, right to the action. New. We're just going to start with AEW. Just going to call it AEW. Part two of the New Year Smash, and I'm not gonna lie, Mark, you kind of accidentally like spoiled it because we can't watch it live, of course, unless we're gonna watch it illegally. And then you
Well, I
told,
can watch it legally, so
oh, yeah, I forgot you got that hookup through Comcast. Is it Comcast or Xfinity?
no, I use my parents' internet
Mm,
or cable subscription through AT&T TV.
nice. So how was that
It's pretty
stream?
nice.
Was it pretty good?
It's good. It's probably like 10 to 15 seconds behind what you would have on like a hard cable box, but it streams fine. Um,
Quality's nice.
quality's good on with AT&T TV. You have the ability to cast it to your TV through Apple and Google. Obviously, I'm an Apple man myself, so that's my preference. But
You're not a
um,
beast.
it's for whatever reason the sound doesn't kind of go through too well, so I just will watch it on my AirPods or watch it on my phone and listen to it on my AirPods, or I'll put it on like the Fire Stick at our house,
Nice,
and it works just fine. It's actually pretty great.
nice. So, yeah, part two or night two of New Year's Smash kicked off with a match between Pac, the Bastard, and Eddie Kingston. That was a pretty good match. I am glad to see Pac back. He seems like a guy that's always been kind of injured. It seems like when he's starting to build something, he gets sidelined. I think calling him the Bastard's like I'm kind of surprised they're able to get away with it. I mean, I don't know. It just feels just calling someone the Bastard just feels kind of like weird.
Yeah, well, but it's 2021. I mean, at this point, like they've been calling him that since he's been in AEW, so it's not like it's anything new.
True. But the Lucha Bros came out with Pac, and the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny came out with Eddie Kingston, kind of building off what happened on night one of the New Year Smash. Um, but it was pretty much what you expect. Nice show to kick off night two. of New Year Smash. And I mean, what was your thought? I mean, two of your boys wrestling, wouldn't you say, in this match?
Um, I mean, it was a good match. It was a good match. It was a solid match to kick off the night. Um, it's a nice switch up. It helps shows, or the match helped to show the versatility of Pac, him being able to wrestle with high intensity and quick movements, but also to have a powerful match, a hard hitting match, which is right in Eddie Kingston's
Mm.
wheelhouse. Solid performance overall, and then I think that match did a really great job of continuing the storyline as far as like Eddie Kingston and his family, and then Lance Archer, and how does Lance Archer fit into this whole thing? I'm really interested to see how that continues to take shape and where that goes and where it takes us. And
Yeah.
I think this is just like this is a general statement. And I don't want this to sound like an AEW fanboy statement, but after watching Raw and SmackDown, and we'll talk about those things. For me, AEW and even Impact is such a breath of fresh air in the sense that when the show opens, you don't have to sit 20 minutes in an open segment and go through this promo that just drags on and drags on. It's so nice to be able to open the show and it's like, okay, we're getting right into the ring, we're getting right into the action. Here we go. Here it is.
Well, see, I'm kind of
Hey,
opposite. Like with AEW, like I know I'm going to get a match, like start like a 20-minute match to start it off. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, I don't like how WWE pretty much starts it with a 20-minute promo as well, but kind of like versatility.
and I mean I get that, but like they've been doing that same like 15 20 minute opening segment promo since we were kids. And like
Hey, you gotta
I don't
stick to the
think it would
well.
be I you gotta switch it up. Like that opening segment cannot go that long if it's just a promo. The average fan is gonna lose interest real quickly because it's like if you're tuning into wrestling, you want to watch two big sweaty men bumping meat. That's what you are tuning in to see. And like
Yeah, but you gotta know
I don't know.
why. You gotta
Do
know
you?
why they. Yes, you
Do you?
do. Yes, how many? Dude, Ring of Honor, Impact, they're even AEW, hell, even WWE, they are filled with wrestlers that 10, 15, 20 years ago would be the best, eh, like would they would be the best in their era. But dude, like they don't do anything. How many of them look the same? How many of them like dressed in black? And how many of them just like I don't need a personality because I'm a wrestler and I like wrestling and I like putting on good wrestling matches. It only works for Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn because they were the originators of it.
By the way, Daniel Bryan might have had the match of the week,
Yeah, but
but
like
we'll get to
yeah,
that.
it's like it's like Stooges like Chuck Taylor. But before we get on to him, as Mark said
Don't you
earlier,
throw Chuck AT under the bus?
Lance after the match, Pac, the Lucha Brothers, which is Ray Phoenix and who? Oh, crap.
Into El Zero M.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and Eddie Kingston, Butcher, and the Blade. I don't think the Bunny was part of it. They all kind of scrapped together, and then Lance Archer came in there and just started hammering people. And that was pretty much in that segment. And then we got into a pretty stupid thing. Chuck Taylor with Orange Cassidy versus Miro with Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, and if Miro wins, Chuck Taylor is his, I guess, butler because they didn't say young boy at all.
They basically they tried to cover it on television as more of a slave,
See, I like
not
that.
slave, but servant. Like
I like that better because for people like us, we would know. We know what young boys are. But it's like for the average people, they're like, "What the hell's a young boy?" Like that. Don't like. I don't feel like the casual people would like that or understand what the meaning of it.
well, they just need to tune in to New Japan and grow some balls and figure it out.
But I think this match. I don't know how long it went, but like I think it went that minus 20 seconds because I think Miro should just went in there and destroyed Chuck Taylor. and pretty much Chuck Taylor Miro just destroyed Chuck Taylor, broke him with the accolade. So now Chuck Taylor is now Miro's Miro's servant, but I think that stooge on Cassidy is gonna be like, nah, no way, man, my friend, even though he agreed to this. But
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Orange,
I
Orange,
said my piece last week about Miro and AEW. I think he's damaged goods.
I think Orange is just gonna kind of let it play out. Um, Obviously, this is a nice little way to kind of help carry this along while Trent recovers from his injury, and hopefully Trent gets back soon. I like the best friends. I like the growth that they've had as a tag team, and I'm interested to see how this whole thing plays out with them. And um, Miro and Kip Sabian. Sorry, I was trying not to choke on spit there. I'm interested to see how this whole thing plays out. I know that you don't like the "we're video gamers and we're mad" thing, but
I was gonna
um,
say, is that like gonna be one of Chuck? Like, is that what gonna be one of the things that Miro's gonna make Chuck Taylor do? Is like play Fortnite and give him like V-Bucks, or get him some more Warzone wins. Like,
some COD points.
yeah,
I
COD
don't.
points.
It remains to be seen.
Get him
I am
that
interested to see how that.
DMX song while he's driving around.
Stop. Stop.
Run down,
Run
open up,
down, open
shop.
up shop.
Whoa,
Whoa.
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 That's how
Just came
Rough
out of
Rough
the
Riders
war zone.
go. But no, like I think Miro should be just banging, banging against
Well,
like
dude,
Matt.
it's
Yeah,
still television.
I know, like Matt Cage.
You can't say you hope he's banging.
Yeah, I called Matt Cage.
Brian Cage? Are you getting
Yeah.
Brian Cage and Willie Mack confused?
It's been a long day.
Sweet Pete.
But no, no, I just don't like what they're doing with Miro. They're making him look like a stooge and an idiot. Don't like it. I mean,
Well,
dude, at this
here's
point, like his last storyline in WWE, it was like, yeah, it was stupid. With Lana cheating on him with Lashley, but I don't know. I liked it better than
well
what he's doing right now.
here's a question for you. Obviously, we know that this is going to play out for a few weeks because um part of the stipulation was that uh Chuck Taylor was supposed to be or is supposed to be Miro's slave servant, young boy, until Sabian and Penelope Ford's wedding. So,
I thought that was a
what?
I thought. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask you, what do you think happens? And maybe we save this for another day, but it's like obviously something has to happen because it's a wrestling wedding. Wrestling weddings never go down the way they're supposed to. Um, I'm just interested to see what happens, how this plays out. Maybe that's where Orange Cassidy strikes is at.
Yeah, you probably. I don't know, dude. Those stupid kicks, like on I don't know, the wedding cake, on the bride. I don't know. I just feel like Orange Cassidy is going to have something to do with this. Probably going to do like what Kurt Angle and Stone Cold did. Just come out there, do lazily, just shoot orange juice at them. I don't know. I am 2 for 2 in predictions so far on this podcast. Just to let you know. So that could happen, or they could do like instead of Sting Snow, it's Orange Cassidy's orange juice, so it's gonna be raining orange juice. Um,
That would be pretty dope.
but whatever it is, it's gonna make Miro a stooge. But was it until the wedding? Because I thought it was just for a month. Because I don't know if I was
No,
hearing month during the
I'm
on the
pretty
commentary.
sure. I'm pretty sure it's until the Sabian Ford wedding, which is supposed to be in a few weeks. It's like the sometime in February. As a good podcast host, I should have that off the top of my head, but I'm typing up other notes for our champions list. So, um,
Anyways, next up, New Year's resolutions for the inner circle. Oh, it's a pretty
the
good
inner
prep.
circle is fine.
I was gonna say I kind of like it because it seemed like it could get both ways during the promo. It seemed like they got a it could make the inner circle stronger, but also could you can also see the cracks that's kind of that could be forming. They kind of split up in the there because Chris Jericho and MJF they want to team up to go after the tag titles. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
Eh,
basically that's kind of like what a lot of the resolutions were centered around championships, and that was what Jake Hager started with. He just screamed championships, and then everybody's like tag team titles, which really spit in the face of Proud and Powerful, because Proud and Powerful is like, wait a minute, like we're the tag guys, like you brought us in to be the tag team of this faction, this group. And so Chris and MJF saying, well, we're going to be the tag champions. And Sammy saying, well, Chris, you were supposed to be my tag team partner. We were the sex gods, but now I'm going to tag with Jake Hager. We're going to be Sammy Hager.
yeah, I like that.
Incredible, incredible little rib there. Um,
Best singer in Van Hagar.
I don't know. Like,
And
you
also,
know,
I loved it when he said, I don't know what he said, but Jericho said, "We're sexy. We're a bunch of sexy hooligans." When I heard that, I lost it. And then like Sammy accused the Demo God of being a tag team slut because it's like what you said. He wanted to team with Sammy at first, but then what once MJF came into the fold, kind of wanted to take him, team up with him. Um, Wardlow's getting screwed though. I don't know why Warlow and Sammy's not teaming because since Hager lost to him last week or 2 weeks ago.
well, because Wardlow was just he was quiet that whole promo. That's the kind of the brilliance of Wardlow right now is he's just this big strong presence and he's like, dude, I'm big sweaty meat, like I'm big muscle meat, and for him, there's not really much of a resolution compared to Hager, who wants to be a champion. He wants the gold. He wants to be a
He's
champion of the company.
undefeated in Bellator and he wants that tag team gold.
And so, I think that is a really good way of AEW helping to keep Wardlow in a place where it's like his primary concern and care is to be the meat to MJF, and his secondary role and concern is the workings of the inner circle. So it's like MJF 1, inner circle 2, and it creates a really unique dynamic there.
So as that was going on, pretty much everyone started yelling at each other, the makeshift teams that we said, and that's when Jericho proposed that pretty much the three teams would meet up to prove who would represent the inner circle for the tag team titles. Did they say when that match was? Because I'm kind of looking at
Next
Rick
week,
next
I
week.
think I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's going to be this Wednesday. Is going to be that three-team tag match.
Okay. Yeah, that should be a really good match. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously you gotta think Jericho and MJF is going to win.
No,
Sammy Hagar.
they're not a tag team.
Dude, dude from the past year. Dude, there's look how many times someone that wasn't a part of a tag team is the tag title won a tag title. Hell, they're WWE Women's Champion. Like, it's Charlotte and Asuka.
Yeah, we're not talking about that crappy promotion right now.
Don't even say
We're
that.
talking about AEW. AEW. AEW is at a place now where there isn't any reason that a legitimate contending tag team should just be two singles guys that are thrown together. The AEW tag division is so deep currently that
But they're so deep.
they're
But like, it's like what I said earlier. Like, how many of those guys you care about? I mean, I'm just gonna say Young Bucks, FTR, and I'm just biased SCU. I mean, other than that, like those guys are just in change like freak.
see. I think that you throw Proud and Powerful in that mix. I think that when Trent comes
Obviously,
back, you've
sorry.
got the best friend. You got the best friends back.
That's
Um,
that's like not a it's not a tag team that's dude MJF and Jericho is more believable than them. They're
I
just
mean,
they're just
they made a run in the middle of the spring into summer this past year, though. And in part because they were one of the few sets of teams in the midst of the early stages of the quarantine where best friends was at like nearly every AEW show because half of the roster was still stuck in the West Coast. So they really carried that tag team division along when nobody else could be there. And I think that, especially with the kind of wrestler that Trent Beretta is, that Chuck is your guy that goes in and he gets beat up and he takes a beating, and Trent comes in for the hot tag and he makes the save. And you got to give the people what they want. You got to give the people what they want. The best friends hug. And we're just going to have to agree to disagree. I think that the AEW tag division is stacked, and there are lots of different ways that you could take it.
yes. Agree to disagree. Up next was the Elite versus Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., and Danny Limelight. They did the old bait and switch. They promised us Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, but you know, it's we even got a better deal because instead of the Young Bucks, Don Callis
Mm-hmm.
announced that the Good Brothers would be replacing them. So the Impact Tag Team champions, the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. I mean, dude, it was pretty much a jobber match. Like, I mean, I don't want. It's hard to say because in AEW, like even jobbers, they get some offense in, but it just seemed like it was all the Elite. And yeah, I liked it. I didn't see the Young Bucks, so
This match this match was set up for the purpose of being able to promote Hard to Kill. Without a shadow of a doubt. You look at it, obviously you get the Good Brothers to come in, the bait and switch, take out the Bucks, as far as like taking their spot in that 6-man tag. And obviously you had to get Omega, Gallows, and Anderson a little bit of ring action together on television. They went into this pay-per-view 6-man match um, at Hard to Kill for Impact Wrestling. So that made sense. That team good. Um, I really like how that led into what happened Saturday, but we'll get there. And then obviously even after the match, all kinds of hell broke loose, and um,
yeah,
like we, like we talked about the other time we got together. I guess it was our second podcast, but I know that you're kind of like, oh, Bullet Club rerun, da 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 da. But it's like for me, there are so many different places that the storyline can go and places that can take us with different people connected to it that I'm just interested to see what that's going to look like. What's that adventure going to be like? Where's the trip going to take us? What's the scenery going to be like along the way? And, when was the last time? Probably the last time that we had an invasion angle that had this kind of getting people talking and momentum was honestly was probably that invasion angle with ECW and WCW invading the
no,
Federation.
but the Nexus. No, but before we get on to that, I got something. But when Mark said all hell broke loose, John Moxley came out and after the match, and the commentary is pretty much hyping up that John Moxley doesn't care if it's like 400 versus one. He's just gonna go in there because in the ring it was the Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, and pretty much Moxley just started going after Omega, which I don't think Omega was going. I don't know. Never mind. I was getting ready to say that I was came to the error in my ways, but no. But here's the thing that's confusing is like while they're scrapping, the Good Brothers attacked Moxley as well, and they kind of got the beat down. And the most fucking random tag team to come to the save of John Moxley was the Young Bucks. They're already like it's like what you said. Like you're interested to see what they're doing, like with the Bullet Club. Like you know what they're going to be doing with this. they're already having a power struggle within the group. It's only been a week. You have Don Callis out there, saying the Young Bucks is going to be out there, but they switched. They got the Good Brothers. But like, dude, just don't make sense. This is like something that you see like 3 months down the line or something like that. Like they're already having issues with each other.
Well,
I don't
I don't
understand
think
it. Like,
I don't think it's a power struggle. I think in that moment the Bucks coming, so like even
but
take
like
it
no,
back to
even
Dynamite.
before that though, like Don Callis, which he has like what's his role in AEW?
He doesn't have a role in AEW.
Then why is
He's
he?
literally
Well, then
like
why
a
is
manager
then why is he replacing? Whatever the hell the Young Bucks, what position they have in the company. Why is he
because
overriding them?
he's acting on behalf of the world champion.
It does. uh,
And as far as the Bucks making the save on Moxley, you go back to last week. There was a reluctancy as far as the Bucks are should we be with these guys? Should we not? And then you have the fact that they get taken out of that match so that the Good Brothers can come in. I think their save for Moxley in that moment was a save. Moxley is our guy as far as AEW is concerned. We are protecting our guy from these invaders. Now I know that that doesn't make sense, but the Bucks are caught in this power struggle of do we side Bullet Club for life when we say for life we mean it's for life, or except for AJ Styles, or are they going to stay true to AEW? And they're caught in the middle. That's what's frustrating you because it pisses you off. But the story is the Bucks are kind of in this place where it's like we could go we could go with the club, we could go back to these roots, and we could throw up the too sweet and the suck it signs and get lots of lawsuits with WWE, or no, we're gonna be good company men like we should be. We're gonna stand our ground. We're gonna stand for AEW. We're gonna stand for this thing that we made and we created. And they're in the midst of this internal struggle. Do we stay with our best friend, or do we stand with Tony Khan? And that's again, that's part of this whole long train, and we're gonna see how it plays out. And I know that pisses you off because it's like, well, it's back and forth and this and that. But the story
no, it just seems like.
is
Good, sorry.
well, no, I mean it's just it's just part of the story. It's the same thing in the sense of like drawing out a story with Hangman Page. Was Hangman going to be part of the elite? Was he not? They kicked him out, but could he come back? And now it's like, is Hangman going to join the Dark Order? Is he not? It kind of looks like it is.
You
It's
say that's a
leaning
good
like it
thing,
is.
but that's
But
like that. Like what I'm saying is like there's no build. Like what's the point of like I get what you're saying. They did it like reluctantly, but like it's too late. They're part of it, and also wouldn't they side with Kenny Omega because he's their best buds, and they would want to have their Omega as champion. Like Moxley, like I don't know. I just don't understand it because like they're just gonna have this thing throughout the until the next pay per view. Like, oh, are they good guys? Oh, are they bad guys? Oh, are they good guys? They're just gonna keep on doing this, and by that point, I just don't care, and I'm already off of it because it's like there's no reason like there's like it's like I feel it's too early. Like if they wanted to, unless the Young Bucks turn their back on Moxley, which I don't know why. Because I mean, if it was Cody, I can understand it, but it's John Moxley. Like other than him being the champion, like why would they want him to be the champion?
just have to tune in to Dynamite this Wednesday to find out.
Uh, do you want to talk about that disaster of the dentist shop or what the hell it's called?
Um, Britt Baker has her own talk show, and they I think that didn't happen. That happened after the
I don't
Classic Express match, did
uh,
it not?
I don't
Maybe it did. I
know
don't
what
know.
I'm looking at. It's not mentioning it, so that's why I don't
Well,
know.
anyway, Britt Baker's got her own talk show. I will say I thought it was kind of funny that they ribbed Cody with the sparklers. Um,
Right in the face, the neck tattoo. Dude,
so
they
the
just
part with that,
say like that. I mean, I don't know, man. Like that's crazy, in my opinion. Like that's something like I wouldn't even. I just feel like that's like what close friends would joke about, not do that on national TV. I mean, I get it, but just I don't know, because that is your boss, and but he does have a stupid neck tattoo.
yeah. Um, but then let's see. So Cody comes out, gets interrupted by Jade
Well,
Cargill.
hold on. Well, first of all, we found out Brandy's pregnant, so we're not.
We knew that Brandy was pregnant.
Oh, I
Where have you
didn't.
been?
I didn't.
Dude, they announced that like at Christmas time.
Okay, that was probably when I wasn't watching full episodes. Um. Uh. No, like they were talking about the Big Show or what the hell it's called. Um.
The Go Big Show.
The Go Big Show.
They can't. They cannot. They literally cannot talk.
Why? It's just a Netflix show.
Oh
Uh.
my gosh.
Um.
I'm for
No, like they were talking about the Go Big Show, and but like it seemed like he couldn't even get a word in, right? Like even like before, I don't remember her name before she came in. One that said,
Reba or
yeah,
Kate or Jade.
Jade. One that said Shaq was coming.
Yeah,
Um,
that's Jade.
Jade.
Jade Cargill.
Um,
Who, fun fact, has a baby girl with former Reds second baseman.
yeah. Hold up, Brandon Phillips.
Hmm?
Brandon Phillips. Was it Brandon Phillips?
Yeah. Yes, I said yes. I said yes, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I looked up.
I even said his name before you screamed it.
Oh, I looked him up like when I first seen her. Yeah, that was then like she got in the face of Cody and like pretty much did the hand to the face, literally, and just pushing him away, and they got into it. Um, who was the other one? Who's she fighting with? The shorter one?
Um, I, oh crap, I think her name's like Red Velvet or something like that.
Yeah.
Again, should be a better host, but the notes that I am looking at are not. They don't
It
feature
it's just a
this segment.
disaster. It's just like it to me. It's just like this is like a world star segment, and then like they're
Well,
they're
and it.
fighting. Okay, what?
Well, I was gonna say just to kind of like to like go into like how kind of like the rails fell off the bus with this segment is the fact that literally there were people. I don't know if it was the announcers or if it was people in the crowd who were screaming that um it was Brandy who ran in on Jade when it was in fact Red Velvet, a completely different person. Um, and it's like, wait a second, why are we saying that Brandy is running in on Jade? They literally just said that she's home, being pregnant, and preparing to be a mom and all of those things. So you could just tell, like, they wanted to bring the talk show on TV, which I can understand, but the segment was just really, really, really weird
Well, hold on,
and
we're not even
strange.
close. So, guys, those two are brawling. Um, they also had a studio audience of I guess the women
Of their
wrestler,
peers.
yeah, women wrestlers and Aubrey, the referee. I thought that was kind of cool and kind of funny. So like while those two were scrapping, they pretty much was trying to break it off, and Cody, while this was going on, sneaked away. And as it couldn't get any more worse, a Thunder Rosa promo just started playing for no reason. I mean, like there was a reason for it, but like nothing was like I don't know, just because like her and Britt Baker's feuding. I couldn't hear what she was saying. When she was speaking English, the quality was too shitty, and then she's speaking Spanish, and I can't do that.
Tyler could definitely understand what she was saying
Yeah,
when she was speaking Spanish.
yeah. Um, I know it's early, but dude, this is probably the worst segment of the year. This will, this is up there for me.
I don't know.
It was bad. Like
I don't know.
it was like no point. Like everyone, in my opinion, came off bad. I mean, like Britt Baker was all right, but
And obviously, the whole Thunder Rosa thing, it led to the fact that Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker will be wrestling. Um, I think either at night one or night two of Beach Bash, which is coming up sometime in February. I think it's the beginning of February is when Beach Bash will be. Um, because that's I know Beach Bash is going to be or Beach Break. I don't know. There's so many weird names that it could be, but something AEW Beach event. Because that's also the Sabian Penelope Ford wedding. So probably that event will be the first 2 weeks of February, February 3rd and February 10th.
next,
Yeah. What you
yeah,
got?
it was pretty terrible. Next segment was Jurassic Express minus Luchasaurus plus Marco Stunt versus FTR.
Ooh, my
Um,
guys.
uh, when I'm a hateful guy. I'm not the first to say hate, but Tony Khan, I kind of like him. You know, after this because even though they missed it on the TV, did you see where he bought the rights for Jungle Boy? For Jungle Boy,
Yes, I did. I did see that tweet.
I love that song. So yeah, so that's yep. Tony Khan gets +1 for me from me. So but yeah, this match sucked. Um, yeah, it sucked. Uh, Marco Stunt, like the FTR just pretty much destroyed Marco Stunt for most of the match and kind of build up
As
that.
they should.
Yeah, and then but then Jungle Boy got into it. Jungle Boy's he's not that bad. Um, I don't know if my stance has been softer on him just because of the new music, but or just because he's teaming up with Marco Stunt. But I mean FTR won, but it just felt like this went on for way too long. It just it's I mean I'll probably get it on later on in the main event, but I just I just hate that. I just hate this stuff. Like, if FTR is really the best tag team in AEW, they should like, dude, I can understand Private Party or someone else, but dude, this is like even Margo Stunt. I don't care, like, oh, he took a pounding, but still, I, Mark, what's your thoughts?
Well, I agree. I'm not a Marco Stunt fan, and um, obviously I'm big on FTR. They've been incredible since they became a tag team, and I as you know I'm in this weird place where it's like I love the Young Bucks and I also love FTR, and I appreciate what both of those teams bring to the table. Um, Obviously, FTR is on the beginning of their run to redemption to try to earn back the tag titles. I hate that they kind of have to start with Jurassic Express, um, especially with Marcus Stunt being a stooge and getting himself involved. But Cash and Dax showed why they're top guys, and um, hopefully we do see another match with FTR against Jurassic Express, and we get to see them against Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I'm interested to see how they wrestle Luchasaurus and what it would be like. Um, but yeah, I think I would rather see FTR in a different storyline right now. Um, let them get their way, get momentum back to get into their rematch that they haven't had yet, um, and have them wrestling somebody that's not Lucha Express or yeah Jurassic Express, but FTR they did the best with what they had and turned it into what they tried to make the best out of what they could, and um, look good all the time. It's hard for FTR to not look good.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like the problem is it wasn't a bad match. Obviously that's not the problem, but it's just I
And
think as I get older, I just like believable stuff more, and it just
and
to
that's
me
that's
and
fair.
just like I just think it's a joke. Um, but what was next, Mark?
Next was, at least wrestling wise, the NWA Women's Championship match between Serena Deeb and Tay Conti.
I can't tell you what happened in this match.
Well, obviously Tay came out with Dark Orders, Anna Jay, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. Um, they wrestled a pretty decent match back and forth. It showed, um, yeah, this match showed Tay's improvements in the ring. But Serena Deeb she's a great wrestler. There's a reason that she's the NWA Women's World Champion. Um, I think it's super interesting still that it's like there's been this partnership between AEW and the NWA, specifically within the women's division. I would love, love to see the men's division be brought in as well, just because I want to see Nick Aldis get in the AEW ring with the 10 pounds of gold and just lay waste to people. I think that NWA World Championship it's an iconic belt. Nick Aldis has turned into a phenomenal wrestler from the end of his TNA run to getting into the NWA and really bring helping to try to reestablish the NWA and bringing that championship back to prominence. I'm getting off topic. But the match was good. Serena Deeb is great. There's a reason that she beat Thunder Rosa and is now the women's world champion. Um, and I think that we're seeing a good opportunity for Conti to probably join the Dark Order.
Yeah, all I know is that Serena won. It was kind of a match where I didn't really pay attention to. I mean, knew what was going on, but I didn't really have an interest in it. Next up, in the main event,
Tyler's favorite match of the year.
uh, for the TNT Championship match, Darby Allin, the champion, versus Brian Cage, and
This should have been a title versus title match.
um,
Look, if you want the FTW belt to be a legitimate title belt, then put it on the line, Brian Cage. That's all I'm saying.
like I don't know. I wish I was able to see this like match live, without like knowing the spoilers of the wonderful my co-host said. But I knew going in that was going to be the thing. They were even hyping up like pre-match, saying that how Brian Cage had a 100-pound advantage, and then I don't know, it was just pretty much just Brian Cage just did Brian Cage stuff, and Darby Allin had Darby Allin stuff, just get destroyed. Uh, got cut. Uh, Darby Allin's forehead got cut it up really bad. Because I don't. What was he thrown off into a table? Is that how he got cut up?
Yeah. Um, I think he was starting. He he got power bombed onto the entrance ramp,
Hmm.
and then I think at some point he was slammed through something
Yeah,
else. I
he
don't
gorilla
remember.
pressed him in the ring, tossed him over the top, and threw a table at ringside. Yep, his
Yeah,
face
that's what it
bloody.
was.
Um,
Now I
but
will say I did see this on Reddit. Obviously the pin came in this match. Allen went for the crucifix where if you this I saw this on Reddit. So if you go back in Darby Allin match history, when he lost his match against Cody, he went for the crucifix. Do you remember this? This was like early on in the quarantine, I believe. And Darby had Cody in the crucifix, and then Cody took his momentum to put Darby's shoulders on the mat. Cody gets the pin. Cody gets the win.
hmm
And Taz came out And Taz told Darby, like he was just trying to help. He was trying to coach. Um, Darby blew him off. Darby's like, "Well, I know what I'm doing," which pissed Taz off, which kind of led into this whole thing as
Yeah.
to why we're in this position. Darby gets the win by putting Brian Cage in this crucifix and getting the pin from that position. So in that sense of storytelling, that's really cool. But honestly, for the amount of time that has happened between that moment and now, I wouldn't have remembered that if I hadn't seen it on Reddit. And especially if you're like brand new to AEW and come in, you're like, okay, this kid's like 100 pounds soaking wet and his face is bloody and he just beat this big dude.
After
Um,
getting destroyed.
right after getting wrecked, it would be different if Darby Allin set his prison ate his vitamins and he hulked up and he hit Brian Cage with the big boot, but he didn't hit him with the big boot, and so um, yeah, I don't know this man. I was left without words for this last segment. It was like probably one of the only times since Dynamite has been on air that I was left with not the best taste in my mouth because just the whole way that championship match ended and the way that the show closed, um, I just was not. I wasn't about it, and that's my personal thing. I know some people are probably gonna disagree with that, and that's fine.
You forgot
But
Sting.
yeah, and that for good reason because he just hit somebody with he hit Ricky Starks with his bat, and then it
And he,
snowed in Florida.
and he looked at him.
Like
Yeah, like
I
that's what. This is
I love
probably.
Sting, but
I don't want to overreact, but see, this is why.
uh,
This is why, like, as crappy as WWE is, I still would rather watch WWE than AEW because of this stuff right here. It's just stupid stuff that I don't know. It's just like something like kind of like what CZW or Ring of Honor or Impact kind of do, where anyone can take on anybody, and I just can't get into it. I just can't. I just don't. Like maybe if Darby Allin like did like a roll up or something like that, I could see that. It wasn't going to come down to like a clean one. Like Team Taz was going to interfere with it, and that means Sting was going to come out and boom. But yeah, I just yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's like what you this AEW really left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm not the biggest AEW guy, and it's just to me, it's just like this is why I didn't prior to the podcast. This is why I didn't watch it every week. This is why I just watched highlights in the paper, highlights on like YouTube or whatever, and just watched the pay-per-views. But so anything else you want to add to AEW, or you want to move on to NXT?
that main event freaking sucked. I'm still so flustered by it. Like going back and talking about it, like I'm putting myself back into where I was last Wednesday, and I was man, I'm just so frustrated by it. Like I'm at this point now where it's like obviously Sting has aligned himself with Darby and vice versa, but what's that gonna be like? Like what's the point? Like why is Sting here? Are we gonna see Sting in the ring? Are we not? I'm sure they're waiting for the pay per view, and that makes sense because you want the buys. But like even when like Cody's tried to interact with Sting, we don't get anything. And I guess that goes with who Sting is and what he's about. Like the only thing that's for sure about the Stinger is that nothing is for sure and nothing is for certain. But I just don't know where this is going, especially at some point. Like even just looking at this realistically, like you were saying, Tyler, you're gonna get to a point where for Team Taz has like 6 guys, and 6 guys are gonna beat up Darby Allin and a Sting who's in his like 60s. So at what point? Why has Team Taz not just taken over? Um, like what is it about Sting that they're so afraid of that they can't just bum rush him and take him out? I don't understand. And like I said, I love Sting. Sting's always been one of my favorite wrestlers. Um, but he's 61. He's going to be 62 in 2 months' time. And so I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know where it's going. And I'm gonna ride with it. But as far as this storyline with AEW, this is probably one that I will be riding with, kicking and screaming along the way.
To open up NXT, Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae kicked it off with Candice LeRae winning. These two have had history before, because as you remember before War Games, Mark, Candice LeRae destroyed Shotzi Blackheart's tank before War Games. So
If there's one thing that I remember, it's definitely that.
yeah, I mean it was pretty much a match to start off the night. Candice LeRae won, but I mean it was pretty much just I feel something's gonna be happening with them. I don't know when the next takeover is gonna be happening, but I feel something's going to happen between those two. Probably like I don't know, like a steel cage or ladder match, something stupid.
I think that you forgot one of the most important things about NXT from this past Wednesday, and it comes with the opening shot or one of the opening shots of broadcast when we come to Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph at the announce
Oh
table.
yeah,
And Vic Joseph wearing his brown suit with his orange tie for the Cleveland Browns. And yeah, I know we just lost to the
I was gonna
Chiefs,
say anything
but let the
possible.
dogs bark, baby.
Arr, arr,
Let
arr,
the
arr, arr,
dogs
arr, arr.
bark.
Anything possible.
I tweeted Vic Joseph about his suit, and he didn't respond to me, so he can, pound sand. But other than that, I
Hey,
mean, I
hey,
like Vic
hey,
Joseph.
hey! Once we reach the top 50, we got to build our name. You got to build it up. But
It'll come.
yeah. Um, Let me know if there's like any promos after that.
After the Shotzi Black, Candice LeRae,
Yeah.
for Shotzi Blackheart, we got a quick little promo from Finn Balor, the NXT World Champion,
Was this
um,
in the ring or outside the ring?
in the ring, and he is interrupted at some point
The boys.
um, by our guy, who's also Pat McAfee's guy, Pete Dunne. Because I do remember seeing that this was on the Hulu feed that I saw. But Pete Dunne, Balor's talking about like there's no one here for me. Kyle O'Reilly's really good. He talks up Kyle O'Reilly, but like Balor goes back and forth between like being good, being bad in his promo. And Pete comes out and he says, "You want to challenge, but you don't want to wrestle me." And of course, Dunn doesn't come out alone. He comes out with Lorcan, and he comes out with Birch, and uh, um, as their battle, or with words, and they jump. Balor, Balor is saved by Undisputed Era and Kyle
But
O'Reilly,
but
who's
wasn't
technically not clear to wrestle.
I was gonna say was it kind of reverse like Kyle O'Reilly made the save, then once I'm just gonna call them the boys. Once the boys had the numbers advantage, is that when the Undisputed Era came out?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then as Mark said, now is this storyline or is this real? Like, did O'Reilly injured his jaw in that match against Balor?
I think there's potential for it to be real. If I was a better if I was a better podcast host, I would know for sure. But it's definitely within the storyline because I think it goes along with like Balor kind of giving Kyle O'Reilly what he received himself.
Yeah, well,
That was part of their angle in the match.
yeah, while they battled,
The week before.
yeah, and they battled the Undisputed Era, and the boys was getting ready to mess up with O'Reilly, like getting ready to knee him. Like I don't know, can you explain it better than I can? Like they were holding him, man, we're all
I mean, they had his face up against
a
like
guardrail.
the the barricade, and like a kick to the jaw.
Yeah, and we need to do better at describing. What was up next?
After that, we had our first match in the Dusty Rhodes Classic,
Yeah.
which I just have to say this before we get into the details of the match. I know that this isn't an important thing, but I think because I'm so used to the tournament being called the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and they try to interchangeably use the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and then they just call it the Dusty Cup.
Yeah.
I don't like the sound of Dusty Cup. I know that's a weird preference thing, but I would rather you just call it the Dusty Classic. The Dusty Cup just sounds like not something you want to win. Like it sounds like a an old trophy that's been sitting in your middle school trophy case for like 65 years.
um,
Um,
I just think it's just because like I guess it's homage to the Crockett Cup. That's my only thing. That was also I think a tag team that went on like went on in I'm going to get the names wrong, but like NWA, WCW, like during that time.
right, to face the champions when they won the Crockett Cup. And I get that, but I feel like Crockett Cup runs way smoother off the tongue than Dusty Cup. And again, that's a preference thing. I get that, but it is what it is.
But yeah, the Grizzly Young Veterans versus Everrise, and I know you're going to like this, but dude, when I was watching the match, for some reason, man, I was like during the no, it was during the entrance. For some reason, I was getting like Toronto FC vibes from the Grizzly Young Veterans, like just like from their color scheme and everything. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, TFC can go pound sand.
I don't know. It just seemed like their scheme was just similar to what they have, but I mean, good Everrise. I mean, I don't know. This is my first time ever seeing Everrise live. They look stupid. I just it was
I
kind of
wasn't
like,
a fan.
huh?
I wasn't a fan.
You was?
No, I was not.
Oh yeah, it just seemed like it was kind of like a jobber match, but it wasn't. Hard to say that because like I don't really remember much of Everrise getting anything in this match. Do you?
No, they yeah, they just feel like a knockoff version of a tag team. I don't want to say because that'll really get you riled up, but
Uh, Who?
it doesn't matter.
Just say it.
They lost. They're out. They lost. They're out of the tournament. Let's move on. We
You
got too
think
much
they're
wrestling to
knockoff
cover.
Young Bucks?
Yeah, freaking I do.
Okay, I didn't get
At
that
least in
vibe.
appearance,
Okay, maybe. I was like, man, like,
and like their some of their mannerisms, like because the Bucks are really talkative in their matches, and Everrise, I was like, shut up and wrestle. Like, just shut up and wrestle. That's yeah. It wasn't necessarily like actual wrestling moves or their style in that regard. It was more just like like they're just talking a lot. They like try to look cool and hip, but I don't think they do. And maybe that's just because I'm old and out of touch. But if you listen to this podcast, you're listening to my views, and then you can yell at me online as to why I'm wrong, and you can bully me for weeks.
um, seemed like they were pretty successful in Chikara, but other than that, but yeah, like I agree. What's next up for you?
Oh, what was next up for me? I'm seeing on this list that Johnny Gargano wrestled Dexter Loomis, which I
Okay,
did not see.
oh, um, before that, there was a promo from Shotzi, and she announced that she was going to be in the Dusty Rhodes Cup. I think that's just their way of saying this is going to be the female version of it. If I'm guessing, um, from what I'm reading, and uh, then it was announced Ember Moon came on and said that she'll be teaming up with her. So that's one team
Yeah, I did
for
not
the
see that at
for
all.
the Dusty Rhodes Cup. It wasn't nothing. Um, and then and what'd you see? Loomis and Gargano promo.
No, apparently there was a match,
Yeah,
but
man, they cut
I did
that.
I did not see that on Hulu at all.
Man, that was pretty good. Um,
The next thing that was on Hulu for me after the Grizzled Young Veterans match was the next match in the Dusty Classic.
oh yeah,
After a quick promo of Fight Pit next week, which I have no
yeah.
idea what the heck that's even going to be, but
You didn't see the
if it's
Riddle one?
Champa and Thatcher, no. I
Okay.
stopped watching WWE for a while, so I don't even know what the first Fight Pit was, but I'm definitely willing to go back and watch
It
it.
was pretty good. Um, yeah, that should be interesting. I like both styles. It's gonna be weird though. Um, but yeah, the Gargano Dexter Loomis match was pretty good. And Samuel, I don't, I'm sorry I keep on calling him that, but yeah, Dexter Loomis is like a guy like I would never think that he'd be part of like NXT or WWE, just because like always think of him as Samuel Shaw and TNA, and
Hmm.
I don't know he kind of plays that killer well. Like he's able to, I don't know, it's creepy and it's just weird, but it's just like I don't know, it's like wrestling weird, or you're like this is stupid in wrestling. He's like a killer, but like he walks on his like he's able to crawl on his hands, like in like I guess like a monster like vibe.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but it was just one of those matches that that Gargano was going to win because there was no like why would they have him lose to Dexter Loomis? Um, Jake Atlas and Isaiah Scott versus MSK. Um,
Those rascals.
yeah, I was gonna say, I've only seen them once, and that was during yeah, I guess it wasn't that good if I don't remember it. What was that really good Impact pay per view that got like a lot of people back on watching Impact? It was happened this year.
Had to have been one of their last ones. I don't.
It was a Slammiversary. No, it was a
Found Glory.
no, it was Slammiversary. Um, but yeah, like seeing them, but like, eh, I don't know. It was just a match. Kind of like never. It was like always like with they were hyping MSK throughout the entire time, and like you had no idea who they were. But I mean, they just kind of had like that, that classic NXT, like they're going to get all their stuff that they're known for in, in kind of like a quick squash match.
Right.
So, what's your thoughts on Jake Atlas and Isaiah Scott? Because
Um.
I know you love tag teams that just team for no reason.
You know, they're my favorite. I think that they should all be the tag champions for sure.
Yeah.
I have no, I have no idea who those guys are. Um, so I don't know what the point of that even is. Um,
I think it's just for them to get into something. But what was up next for you?
Next I got to see Kung Fu Woman defeat local competitor.
Zia Lee. Oh,
Yeah.
stupid.
Um,
Like that's like what this right here is like stupid to me on like how like Dexter Loomis is. A
yeah.
guy that's can't. Did you remember watching him versus Cameron Grimes and Howling Havoc?
I think so. Yeah.
Like they had that horror match, and he's pretty much like Kane from See No Evil. Can't be killed.
Right.
Um, uh, but I mean, this is just stupid. If you can do this, why not do UFC? Like, and then like they're adding like a dimension of like a Shang Tsung person. It's just and like why is
All I'm
Triple H allowing this or like William Regal allowing this? Because I don't, I don't
all
know.
I'm saying, probably because this is gonna help them open up their in China, but all I'm saying
But
is
that
that
never works
weird.
out.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you, when money talks, you try to do stupid stuff.
Jinder
But
Mahal.
that I just want a Heath Slater World Championship run. That's what we deserve. Save us 3 and B, baby. 3 and B for life. Greatest faction of all time. Um, I got hardcore Dark Order vibes from that weird Asian on the throne person because she definitely gave the Dark Order claw. and
Like
that's all I can talk about
AAW
the entire
Dark
time.
Order?
In the same degree, but she gave
No,
a
she's like
claw.
that. No,
She gave like a yeah, she gave a
no,
version of the
dude.
claw.
It's like,
Yeah, dude.
dude, you need to
Lick a
watch more
fart.
Kong. You like a fart.
No,
You
you
need,
lick a fart. I
you
said
need
it
to,
first.
you need to watch more Kung
She's
Fu
trying to
movies.
channel. I'll spend
No.
all my time watching wrestling so we can do this podcast once a month. Um, she gave the Dark Order claw. Get get this dude. I just yeah I don't, I'm not a fan of it. I think there's too much going on, or there's potentially too many great things happening in NXT for me to have to sit there and watch what I watched with that match.
Um, I mean, as pointless as it was, I did think it was pretty cool how it was done. Just two strikes, but we shall
Well,
see.
if you're going off of that logic, then the best wrestling match to have ever happened was the finger poke of doom, because it was literally one strike.
Hell, 2000 or 2000 bash at the beach, man. Jeff Jarrett just fell for Hogan. Um, what'd you
Can't
see?
believe that was a real thing.
What was up next for you?
The main event,
Okay,
Undisputed Era versus Breezango.
uh, I don't know where this happened at, but there was a promo hyping up Raquel Gonzalez. You know, pretty much what she's
I did
done.
see that. I
Okay,
did see that. Yeah,
yeah.
it just wasn't on my little notes thing I have
Dude,
here.
why not?
I don't know. I blame Forbes.
Okay, but yeah, well that's what I'm saying. Like I don't, it's not on Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report. Um, she pretty much issued a challenge to Io Shirai. I don't know. Like I was talking about the last time we were doing it because that was after her match with Rhea Ripley. I really like her, and I think there may be a chance that she's going to be Io Shirai whenever the next takeover is, or whenever they're if they have a match. So I'm going to be looking forward to that because Io Shirai was one of the best wrestlers on NXT last year, and hopefully she's able to continue upon that. But also I feel like her time in NXT is probably ending soon because she's been down there for almost I don't know. She's been there like a long time for NXT, and I have a feeling they're probably going to move her up to NXT, Raw or SmackDown. So
Well, well, I don't know because you have plenty of guys who have been in NXT for years, and it doesn't even look like they're ever going to get called up to the quote unquote main roster.
true, but it seems like
So
they don't do that with the women though,
that's a fair point.
because yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Can't talk what
I will
ifs.
be excited. I will be excited about that match. I thought that promo was good. I think Gonzalez has the makings to just be dominant in that women's division in NXT for a while. Um, she's a beast. She's great. Um, and I think that match, if we ever do see Shirai and Gonzalez, that gonna be a barn burner for sure.
All right, main event, undisputed era of it's kind of hard to I don't know because my boy Roderick Strong's in there, and but Adam Cole stinks versus Breezango of Fandango and Tyler Breeze, and
Look, I know we have to hate Adam Cole because he turned our boy into a from he took him from being an undefeated pro wrestler to a still should be undefeated but defeated pro wrestler. But and honestly, I think that it's a ghost. I don't even think that that's real Adam Cole. Um, that's that would be from a long time ago. As much as I'm supposed to forcefully hate Adam Cole, I love Adam Cole.
and
But anyway,
also I mean like
um,
I mean also like I'm not saying O'Reilly and Fish like they're a phenomenal tag team, but also I like to see a run from these guys as tag
I
team
think
champions. Has that
I
been
think that you
done?
could definitely.
I don't think so.
I I don't. I'll have to look at my list of undisputed era championship runs
I'm looking at
as
it.
the tag titles. Um, but yeah, I mean, we talked about the versatility of the undisputed era. I think that there's a way. Now, obviously, Kyle O'Reilly did not win the NXT championship, but I think that you could still run that faction, let them move forward, and you could do it to where you have a tag team title run with Roddy and Adam, and then Fish, if he comes back, when he comes back healthy, he takes over the North American title, and then um, Kyle O'Reilly going for that top championship, the thing that has always eluded him.
Hmm. Yeah, they probably had the match of the night. Um, it was a good match. I mean, obviously you knew that the Undisputed Era was going to move on.
No,
But the
I
one,
was there was a part of me that hoped for the upset.
yeah, but it's just when you think of NXT and the Dusty Rhodes Classic, you think like it's like the Undisputed Era. It's kind of like how LeBron James is with it, like Tom Brady is.
LeBron names. Can we talk about the fact that he wants to sign a deal with Pepsi over Coke? He wants to leave Sprite, Cranberry, and the best holiday commercial behind to sign with Pepsi.
Oh no, run like oh no. Um, the boys of Pete Dunne, Oni Lorcan, and Danny Burch came out and attacked the Undisputed Era and blah blah blah, and pretty much Undisputed Era won. Not saying it's a not
Bounty
saying
save.
yeah, not saying it's a boring match, but I mean it was a really good
I mean,
match.
it's what you expect it to be, all things considered. Breezango looked good. I mean, they've been tag teaming for a while. They've got that really good consistency. Um,
Love it.
and and they were there to do what they needed to, which is to give the Undisputed Era a really good match, but propel them into the next round. And obviously, as that moves forward, I'm interested to see. I wish I had the bracket itself pulled up, but I'm interested to see how this plays out moving forward. Just the bracket as a whole, which we'll see more matches in the coming weeks.
Well, if you can ramble on about what was your thoughts on the show, I can find that out.
Um, so again, I need to. What I need to do is I need to just start DVRing NXT, and then I can go back and watch the full thing. Although there is a part of me that really does like watching NXT on Hulu. You do miss some of those minor things, kind of like there were a couple matches that got cut and some promos and things. Um, but it was kind of nice, NXT. I can pound through NXT on Hulu while I'm at work, so that's pretty neat. Um,
But also just
I
one of
think
those things like you kind of think is this really necessary? If you think about it, like is what they're cutting really necessary? Not like you get what I'm saying? Like, am I
right,
missing out on anything? Like it seemed
right,
like I mean, what you got the Shotzi Blackheart promo, right?
right, which I would not have missed,
Well, yeah,
and I didn't miss.
and you got the Finn promo. Like the only thing you missed was the was the Johnny Gargano match, which for some reason why would that get cut? Because that was for the North American Championship.
I have no clue, no idea.
But all right. So in the quarterfinals, well, I guess next week. Oh, okay, yeah. So next week or this week it's gonna be Lucha House Party versus Imperium. If I can pronounce it right.
Imperium.
Yeah, Imperium. Uh, I think even though I can't say their name, I think they could be the winners of this. Like I could see a undisputed era them in the finals because I feel like they were kind of hyping them up, towards like at mid at they were hyping them up like they appeared like on NXT at TV at some point during the fall last year, maybe late summer, early fall, and they could probably move them. to NXT. Once everything gets lifted, the whole group. I know Walter's like still over there being the UK NXT UK champion. I don't watch any of that stuff. And they're going feds against the Lucha House Party, which I don't know why that's still a thing. Of Grand Mandalik and Lance Dorado. um,
Yeah, there are just some things that WWE refuses to let die,
hey,
and
they
that's
get
one of
kids to
them.
say Lucha, Lucha, Lucha. Um,
Which is crazy because that's not, yeah, not word. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
okay, and I guess these are. I'm assuming these are NXT Cruiser 205. These are like our appearing on
Where
these teams because it's Anshante, and Adonis, and Desmond Troy. They don't have a Wikipedia page versus Ari Davari and Tony Nese, and those are guys pretty much primarily on NXT 205 Live, unless these are going to be on next week or this week. Um,
I don't know.
oh yeah, you
I mean, I'm
you missed this. Kushida and Leon Ruff versus the Way of Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. That's what happened in the. They kind of entwine in the Dexter Loomis match.
well, that makes sense because they are, and that's a first round matchup in the tournament.
Mm-hmm. So and yeah. So and then yeah, Drake Maverick. MSK is going to be facing against Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. And
Well, they got. Oh, that's right. They already wrestled. Never
yeah, well,
mind. That was
and so the confirmed teams. I guess there's only going to be four because I think that's starting this week. The Way with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Caden Carter versus Cassie Cadenzo. How you say it? Shotzi,
Catanzaro.
yeah, Catanzaro. Thank you. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon and Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez.
Well, I
Um,
know they had talked about maybe doing 8 teams, but I don't know if they were saving to announce the other four or not.
so you want to give a quick rundown of what happened on SmackDown and Hard to Kill?
Do you want? Well, do you want to talk about Raw? I know that we just went Wednesday, but we completely skipped Raw results.
Yeah, that's fine. I just kind of keep it short.
Raw results: Randy Orton got flamethrower fire in the eye.
Yeah, this is Monday of the 11th, so we'll give you
Yeah.
we'll give you our thoughts. Hopefully this Friday of this Monday's Raw,
Um,
because we're trying.
SmackDown. I'm gonna just literally run through it real fast. SmackDown opens Roman.
Oh, you done with Raw?
55-minute. Dude, nothing really stood out to me from Raw
Uh,
other than Randy Orton getting flamethrower fireball to the
dude,
face.
Charlotte Flair
Oh
versus
my gosh,
and
her
Lacey
dad's a
Evans.
her dad's a hussy.
She's just not classy.
What a
uh,
freaking joke.
uh, uh, pretty much probably the biggest thing of the show was Drew McIntyre announcing that it was COVID-19 positive.
Yep, it's a sad day when your WWE champion forgets the most important thing out of everything. That's that it takes all of us.
um,
And it's a shame, but he'll get better. He'll learn. Actually, we do hope that he does recover quickly because he's gonna get destroyed by
oh god,
Goldberg.
please no. But
You know it's gonna happen.
hopefully,
That's literally they already started building it up. There's one title that's evaded Goldberg in his whole career. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going out
Mark,
on a
don't
limb
do
and calling it
this.
right now. Goldberg wins at the Royal Rumble. My pick, calling on it now. We're 2 weeks out. My pick to win the Royal Rumble, the men's adult version of The Floor is Lava. Your winner, the Intercontinental Champion, Big E. What is Big E going to do? He's going to WrestleMania. He's going to point at the sign at Tampa Bay Gronkiniers Stadium, and he's going to say, I want the match that the people want on the Buccaneers swaggling ship. It's going to be me, and it's going to
The
be
tribal chief.
Goldberg. Big, bumpy, hot, sweaty men bumping meat. And Big E walks out of WrestleMania Night 2 as your dual WWE and Intercontinental Champion. You heard it here first.
Dude, you know he's going to face against the tribal chief. The reason
No,
why,
because he ain't even walking out of Royal Rumble with his title.
the only reason why
Sir.
people that that works on SmackDown can provide food on the tables, some warm hot towels. Um, but yeah, let's. You want to jump right into Friday SmackDown? Give everyone a quick give everyone the Spark Notes version.
Yeah, because I mean, Raw, you had Randy Orton, Triple H. We've seen that play out 100 times. Like, I don't know why we have to see 101 times. Um,
What do you think that
like
was planned? Because with Drew getting COVID, uh, sorry, I got
no, it definitely wasn't. And I do think that Triple H was there to break other news or to do something. And I'm sure it's just kind of like, well, let's kind of swerve things and help fill time, and we can carry on some other storylines in the meantime while Drew's home recovering from COVID. Um, you know, I'm at the point. I like Triple H. Triple H is cool. Um, man, let that man go to pasture. Let him NXT, give him control of the main brands, and let's go. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to look to see if there's absolutely anything else. Oh, Jeff Hardy against Jackson Riker,
hmm
and then against Elias. Love that. Um,
that's
I don't
wait,
understand.
you
You
know
know,
the storyline.
no, I don't, because I'm just giving you weird run throughs of what I watched or didn't watch
It's pretty
on Raw.
much it's just stupid because do you remember when Sheamus and Jeff Hardy was feuding last year, and that's like when like Sheamus that was like when they were like talking about Matt's sorry Jeff's you know issues with drinking and all that stuff.
I think I do.
It was pretty much like that, and like Elias was part of it, and he got ran over, and he thinks that Jeff did it, but as part of that storyline, everyone knows that Sheamus did it, so he's not even going after the person that because he was out for a little bit, and
Uh huh.
so like he's attacking the person that put him out, but it doesn't make sense because everyone knows that Sheamus did that. Like, cause Jeff was set up. Like he was like Sheamus. It was so long ago. Like Sheamus did something. Had Jeff. I don't know. Like, cause like the cop said something about like you smell like alcohol. Blah 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 and blah blah blah. And but like cause Elias to be out for a long time. And now Elias is back, and he's going after Jeff Hardy and not Sheamus.
Jeff Harvey. And you think, see, this is. Anyway, speaking of Sheamus, he pulls
Yeah,
double
I don't
duty with
like it.
Keith Lee.
I don't like it, but
He pulls double duty with Keith Lee. They tag against Miz and Morrison.
hmm
They get the
mm,
win, and
I
then
cannot wait for the Miz to be WWE champion. Let's go. I am so on that. I'm on that.
as long as he gets the reign that he deserves.
Yeah.
The Miz has been a workhorse in WWE for far too long, and I know that a lot of people are finally starting to catch on and give him the credit that he deserves. But my gosh, the Miz is one of the best that WWE has.
Yeah, like he's not going to give you 5-star matches, but I mean, it's like what I said earlier. Like he's able to get you the reason why you want to see him get beat up. Um, and also he's awesome on Miz and Mrs. I mean, that's gold.
Mm.
I just love it.
Great television for the people, for sure.
um, which I'm
Um,
probably gonna make you watch one day. But yeah. You want to move on to SmackDown?
yeah, because Keith Lee wins the second match. Xavier Woods fights T-Bar. I don't Retribution. I don't get. Bobby Lashley
Yeah,
uses
Hurt
Riddle.
Business.
Can we? There's just one thing I don't understand. Why in professional wrestling do we have to take away people's names? Like everybody knows that that's Matt Riddle. Why are we not calling? Like at one point, I was watching that match, and this kind of
Yeah.
tells you that I've not been watching WWE for a little while. Like I'm just getting back into like trying to watch it on a more consistent basis. And so, like, obviously, I knew, okay, like, talking about Riddle, so they're not going to always call him Matt Riddle, which is fine. Like, you know who you're talking about. But then when they literally, his name graphic popped up and it just said Riddle, like, I just,
Yeah.
I,
I don't know. Um, suppose.
bro,
Bro. I don't know.
this is so stupid, bro. It's stupid. I just, oh my
How
gosh.
it's just a Vince McMahon thing, It's just that day he just didn't like Bobby. He just didn't like Matt. So he's just like, how he is.
He didn't like Langston. There's a shirt. I'm sure it's been extended, like the old Cleveland Browns quarterback jersey that used to sit in a window front in downtown Cleveland. But there's a T-shirt, and I am gonna have to try to find it again. But I want to buy it. And the T-shirt, it just has a list of all of these names of WWE wrestlers who had part of their name taken away from them. And so it says like in this example, it would say Matt and Langston and um, who have been some other people who've had their name shortened. Um,
Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry, I really want to thank. Uh, I mean, fuck, I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but Lord Tensai, he got the Lord dropped.
Somebody call my mama.
Um, Man, you really hold on. There's Cesaro. He was Antonio.
Oh, that's right. Cesaro was one. That was a big one. Shorty G
Yeah.
was another one.
Hey, I know.
Like,
Hey, at least he's doing something now, which is something probably up his wheelhouse.
um,
Which he deserves because he's a phenomenal wrestler. Um,
but yeah, all that to say, like most of Raw was really lackluster. AJ Styles gets a win. He's phenomenal.
yeah.
I mean that, anyway. Um,
Osmos.
but yeah, like how do you just like imagine being in the Attitude Era and taking The Rock and dropping the name Rock out of his name and just calling him the. Like, why would you do that? Like, you wouldn't take Stone Cold Steve Austin and just call him, take away the Austin, just call him Steve. Oh, we got Stone Cold Steve here. Like,
Uh, yeah, but
even,
they're getting paid to come up with them and with those ideas. We're not, so we're doing something wrong.
well, but we could apply B writers for that job. Except I don't want to do that. Yeah, Raw was dumb. SmackDown was better.
Yeah.
SmackDown's always better, even though WWE doesn't want you to believe that.
The tribal chief. Uh,
I will say I had this thought when SmackDown opened and Roman Reigns cut his 20-minute per usual WWE promo. The thought did come to my mind, and I wonder if you would agree or disagree. But I think it's a shame that we got the Roman Reigns heel turn that most wrestling fans have been crying out for years. I think it's a shame that heel turn came at a time where there were no fans allowed in the arena.
mhm. Yeah. 'Cause I
So
think, I think, because I mean, I've liked what they done with him I mean, there's some stuff that's is kind of iffy. You're iffy on, but that's with everything. But I mean, like they're doing something that's interesting with him, and that's believable. Like they're not trying to do this BS. Him trying to overcome the odds. Um, like they're playing to his strengths, and I think if there was a crowd, it'll be better, and also I think he'll be better at it as well. I mean, there are times where he slips up sometimes because it's going to happen every now and then because when he's forced to memorize so much stuff before going out there, it's going to happen. Uh,
Sure.
um, but like, yeah, but like I mean, like right now it's just like I mean, yeah, it's like watching SmackDown. I mean, he's one of the reasons why I like watching SmackDown. It's kind of like a breeze compared to watching Raw. While Raw is like is a slug.
Right. And I don't even make it, I don't even, I don't say that, and I know that you don't take it this way, but I'm not even saying that to make it sound like I'm not a fan of what Roman's doing. I think, like I said, man, Roman is just really kind of starting to hit this stride in this heel run. I love the partnership with him and Paul Heyman because there's just something about Heyman representing a champion and a dominant champion at that um, that just plays into who he is and what he's done. And that gives, obviously Paul Heyman makes wrestling money. And so for Heyman to stay on television without Brock being around, that's a huge win for everybody in the company. And so, that was just a random thought I wanted to throw out there because I thought about that as SmackDown Open. I'm like, man, it's a shame that right now for this Roman Reigns champion heel run, the best thing that we have besides the piped in computer crowd noise is all of the stooges watching on a tape delay from their computers via Zoom. And you just see all of these random people just like trying to be as enthusiastic as possible with both of their thumbs, just like pointing them down. And
Trying
that's
they
all
they're
you
they
see.
are they're literally going crazy, man.
I
But
know. And it just kind of like, to me, it's just so laughable. And I get it. Like, you're trying to help people be a part of the show. And that's a big aspect of professional wrestling shows. But, like, I don't know. It's humorous to me. The fact that I think it makes me laugh. And I don't think, yeah, I don't know.
speaking of something that I would wish that the crowd was back for was you know as Mark said, SmackDown opened up with a 20-minute uh chief of the table Roman
Roman Reigns,
Roman Reigns promo,
regardless, a movie star.
but also Jay Uso talked as well. And then you know, while I was saying earlier, wishing the crowds was there. Shinsuke Nakamura came out and he came out with his original theme, the one that everyone loved singing along with, which is the Superior theme. Um, yeah, so they scrapped for a little bit, and that led to a match, which saw Cesaro come out and provide guest commentary, and Shinsuke won. Is that correct?
Yeah, um, no question as far as who was going to win that match. I think it was a great match. The Usos are, always underrated wrestlers, I believe, in WWE. Nobody wants to give them the full credit that they deserve. Um, Great match between and Nakamura. You do get the advancement in the storyline and the fact that Cesaro enters himself into the Royal Rumble, and I I just want to see something that has been long overdue for many years, and that is a Cesaro World Championship reign. That's all I want. I want it so bad.
It's like Dolph Ziggler at this point. It's not going to happen.
See, but Dolph had a world title run. He had one with the big gold belt.
Yeah, but it's not like it was the original plan. It's not like I mean he had concussions through it and he had to drop it like within a. he didn't really have it though.
It's just, I just, and what, and we can talk about this as we get later on into SmackDown, but it just blows my mind that you have and have had one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet for as long as they've had him, and
The pro the problem
he's
is,
over with the crowd and he's
is
not
he
about the
though?
wrestling. That's bull crap. What do you mean, is he?
I mean, dude, like he came out there, like joined the commentary, and that's why he's not in that position because he wasn't that great at it, and that's why he's not in that position because he doesn't make you care about the match. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's one of the best, and but he's just
So you're saying that all the people at previous WrestleManias, when they had fans and they had crowds with paper Cesaro section signs, don't care about this man?
Mark. That was 8 years ago, and
That's what I'm saying, though. He never had the shot that he was due.
what do you mean they teamed him up? They
Ever.
teamed him up with Paul Heyman.
And then what? They just let him sputter out. They changed his music to the weird siren thing, sound like Big Pump Scott Steiner, and then
hmm
they were just like, oh well, apparently we're not gonna put Paul Heyman
And then,
with
dude,
Cesaro,
that
so we're
he
gonna put him with
teamed
Curtis
up.
Axel.
Dude, before he teamed up with the Bar, which is one of the best tag teams ever, he teamed up. He teamed up with one of the most underrated tag teams in WWE history. Fact.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I just want. All I'm saying is
Tyson Kidd.
this year will make Cesaro's ninth year on the main roster. And I don't, I'm one of those people. I think that he has the talent. He's got that thing that makes people care. You disagree, and that's fine. That's the beauty of professional wrestling. But Cesaro has what it takes to be a world champion. And how are you going to know if you don't give him a shot?
I just want him to be better on the mic. That's all. And I think that's the only reason why he's held back.
But I would like to think that for the pound for pound strongest wrestler on your roster, you shouldn't have to have him talk 30-minute promos all the time. He should be the kind of guy that can come out and just says, "Screw it, my wrestling does my talking, and I'm gonna beat up this entire roster. I'm gonna show you why I'm the best, why I'm the pound for pound best wrestler on this roster. I'm the champion, and there's a reason for it."
I
A
agree.
Cesaro World Championship run is long overdue. You can't disagree with that. And I know that I already predicted that Big E would win the World Championship and he would challenge Goldberg for the WWE Championship and we'd get big sweaty men bump and meet. But I just want a Cesaro World Title run. And when he talked about that on commentary, I oh man, it's so long overdue.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nakamura gets a win over Uso. And we move on to the next segment of SmackDown,
Which is
which is
Liv Morgan versus.
uh yep.
Okay, yeah. Only saving grace of this was Billy Kay. I like her. Oh, before this, there was a uh for some reason throughout the night, Roman Reigns wasn't saying anything to Paul Heyman when they were trying to get everything squared up for the Roman Reigns Adam Pearce contract signing at the end of the show. Um,
That's because Paul Heyman should know what
yeah,
the champion wants.
yeah,
The big dog.
yeah. Thank you,
Can
Mark.
why is Apollo Crews with Roman Reigns?
Because it gives him
I
something to
know
do
that
other
they
than smile. Like it's he's finally doing something.
I know that they link that later on and we'll get to it, but
I like it because like it's having Jey Uso team with Roman is understandable, but it's kind of like everyone's seeing how successful SmackDown is because the Tribal Chief is bringing is providing everything for the SmackDown roster, and Apollo wants to be like that. He probably wants to get that Intercontinental title. He wants to feed his family, Mark.
Yeah, I want to feed my family too, and you know what I do for that? I have two jobs. So,
um,
and I don't smile the whole time.
yeah, now Natalia
Liv
versus
Morgan.
Liv Morgan of the Riot Squad, and only saving grace of it was Billy Kay. She's awesome.
and the and the fact that we didn't get that Liv Morgan song. Yo 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 yo.
Um, as much as I enjoyed it just from Billy Kay because I find her funny, I just don't understand the point of it. Why they split up the Iconics.
Iconics.
Um, because they're pretty much do the
See
same.
again, that it's WWE logic. It's like, well, whatever. Like, act
But
like you guys never existed.
I don't know. I mean, I like both of them, but I like both Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. I am more interested in what Billy Kay's doing. Always kind of liked her more out of the two, and she's a expert of moosh, moosh pitting or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, I think
That was
she's
very funny.
yeah, and well, she's unofficially an official member of the Wyatt Squad. Sorry,
The Riot.
Riot Squad. There's
The
too many.
Wyatt Squad sounds. The Wyatt Squad sounds like a weird mix between Punk and then the former Wyatt family.
um, but yeah, she came in the ring, caused a distraction to Liv Morgan, and Natalia rolled Liv Morgan up for the three, which I thought she didn't need. 'Cause that's Natalia, man. She puts in the sharpshooter, she taps, that's it. But just just some shenanigans. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but what was up next for you?
I had Rey Mysterio
Yeah,
wrestling against King Corbin.
yeah, with Dominic on commentary, which is pretty bad. It's kind of like listening to us or me. Uh,
I'd rather see the old classic Dominic on a pole match than listen to him do
yeah.
commentary again.
Where's Vicky?
Dominic, I am your poppy.
Yeah, I'm your puppy.
God rest Eddie Guerrero,
Yeah,
you beautiful man.
always wanted that shirt. I always love it. Like, you're
By the way, that's an incredible book. At some point, we will probably do a book review of it.
yeah. We should probably have like come up with three choices and vote on that soon. I feel it's about time. But yeah, just pretty much what you expect a match between these two on SmackDown. Rey Mysterio got some stuff in. King Corbin got his stuff in.
I don't
Uh,
understand how Rey Mysterio has his eye back. I thought he lost an eye.
hey dude, that's Fox, man. Fox has that good insurance.
But what the like? Okay, like where? See, I just
It's just best not to talk about it because Seth Rollins is his dad now, and who knows. Um, as crazy and stupid out at certain points that whole feud was. I did like that. I did like it. But yeah, King Corbin got his stuff in, and him and Dominic started jaw jacking, and Corbin was getting ready to blast Dominic, but then Rey Mysterio was like, "No, don't do that," and then he got beat up, and then got and King Corbin won. Uh, is there anything you want to add to that, or
no, because then there was a weird backstage promo where
yeah,
Dominic's like, Dad, you don't fight giants anymore, and Ray's like, No, I do, but I fight smart. He's a Golden Glove, blah 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 blah. I know just the guy to call. I don't like who you calling Ghostbusters. Like this is stupid. Move on. But
Kurt Angle?
if only.
Ding Dong Hello, a new show hosted by Bailey and her first guest was Bianca Belair. It was pretty good. I mean, it was better than the dentist shop or whatever it was called. Um, this
The waiting room.
yeah, the waiting room. Which both these shows, this was the first time that they've had like the show, like first show, the talk show. Bailey has a door in the ring, and it just
With the doorbell
yeah.
that you're apparently supposed to ring for it.
Mhm. It's pretty much pointless. They just announced that
How's it pointless? We're gonna get an obstacle course
oh,
next week.
Oh yeah. But yeah. After that, probably the match of the week, Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro. What is pretty much what you expect. You just
Yeah,
hoping
give
they would
me.
have more time, and hopefully more on the line than you know a match midway through SmackDown. But can't turn down the
See, give
opportunity of Cesaro and Daniel Bryan.
you see, you can't tell me that you put Cesaro as the world champion, and his first feud is against Daniel Bryan. Help Daniel come in, build Cesaro as a true legitimate champion. They feud over the belt for months, and their feud culminates with a 60-minute Iron Man match. You cannot tell me that that would not be professional wrestling at its best. Now, also realize that I say this: Cesaro and Daniel Bryan are two of my favorite professional wrestlers, period, across all times and all spaces. But
I,
golly, this
I
match is just
agree.
so incredible.
Yeah, like that's what I said. Like I wish there was more time, more on the line, you know. But I mean, you could probably watch these guys for 10 minutes, on WWE main event, or superstars, and it'll probably be a good match. I mean, but I was surprised to see Cesaro won. Um, and I forgot to mention Cesaro and Nakamura are tag team partners, but it seems like they're kind of going the opposite way. While Cesaro's turned more into a bad guy, while Nakamura's turned into a good guy. It seems like so. Who knows what's going to happen right there?
No,
But
this might sound bad, but when did Cesaro get a new change in his music?
I'm not sure. I think it was after. No, it was after when the bar officially went away.
After the bar split?
Yeah. So probably the bar split like I think 2019. It was somewhere around that time frame. I'm not sure because that was like when I wasn't really fully paying attention to the WWE.
Yeah,
Um,
the bar split in 2019, and then in around May,
yeah, around yep. And it was like
maybe at the end
quietly.
of May.
It was like
Yeah.
quiet, like no one. Yeah. Um, Found out that Apollo Crews is gonna be facing Big E next Friday for the Intercontinental Championship, which Big E's probably gonna win. And then the show closed.
After after Apollo Crews defeated Sami Zayn um, by cheating, um,
Yep.
Sammy tried to get a roll up with the tights. He gets caught. Apollo does the same thing. He doesn't get caught. Apollo wins. He draws with Big E, sets up an Intercontinental Championship
Yeah,
match
because
for next Friday.
Big E was out there being the guest commentator, and not closing his mini fridge, letting all the electricity out. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did see that. I was kind of sad that he was eating fruit and not popcorn.
Well,
But
dude, it's Big E. Like he doesn't have the New Day holding him back. You can't, dude. It's a, we're seeing a lean and cream Big
I
E.
mean, I think I just say that because of my choice. If I had a choice between fruit and popcorn, ringside, I would want the popcorn.
Yeah, and that's why we're not brick houses.
That's true. We
Um,
are fat stooges.
yep. And the show ended with a contract signing for the Royal Rumble between Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns. Gotcha, because towards the end, they reversed it. Adam Pearce faked an injury, and
He got hurt, dude.
yeah, whatever. And
Look,
getting ready for his 400 butt whooping by the tribal chief. Kevin Owens comes out. I I don't know because I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to seeing Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns, kind of see what they were going to do. But I mean, like, I like Kevin Owens, and I'm not like their match at Royal Rumble is going to be enjoyable, but it's just like I don't want this right now because Kevin Owens is going to get destroyed.
is it still going to be a last man standing match? Is
Yeah,
that stipulation staying in?
yeah.
Um,
because I'm pretty sure Apollo Crews is going to somehow be involved.
Yeah, I love Kevin Owens. I hate that he's gonna get fed to the Roman machine, but I get it. Um,
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not just have Adam Pierce? It's going to be something different, and maybe if they just want time, time to fill, because a Roman Kevin match is like, especially last man standing match. That's potentially that could go at least 30 minutes. What they're going to do, but
well, I'm sure Adam Pierce can't go because he's probably at this point in his life where he is probably not medically cleared to be able to wrestle by WWE. Um, I mean, you saw him. He jumped off the apron, and as a person who's gone through two knee surgeries before the age of 24, I can tell you that those darn ACLs, they just act up when they want to, and it's a it's a pain in the butt when they do. So I understand Adam Pierce's longing
yeah,
injuries and his nagging injuries, and T's and P's that he gets better. Um, and hopefully Kevin Owens can have a little bit of a better fate against the big dog. But this is unfortunately, it's kind of one of those matches, just like Goldberg, where I gotta hold my breath.
yep. And that'll be it for SmackDown. Really enjoyable show. Uh, I liked it. And what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, SmackDown's way more enjoyable than Raw for me. I think. I mean, it's cool that Raw has been 3 hours for a long, long time, but my gosh, that's a lot of programming. It's a lot of television. And I feel like, especially right now, just in this era that we're in, Raw drags extra long than what it normally feels like. Um, I forgot how strange all of the weird added graphics on SmackDown are. Um, the fact that like the first 45 seconds of Roman Reigns' entrance is just like this big, like Thanksgiving Macy's Thanksgiving
Uh huh.
parade style Roman Reigns chest puffed out kind of
Yeah.
thing.
They usually
Um,
use that on pay-per-views. Um,
I
I
I
like it for
know.
some people, but like for others, it's just like, why? Like Bianca Belair's, like hers is just her hair. I don't know, but
That's one of those things I would rather just see without
it's
in
cool.
its entirety.
It's
But
cool. I mean, it's cool to look at, and it gives another cool reason to watch it on TV. You know, and like it's pointless, but it's cool to see it on TV because it's like not like the live people can see it, but it just gives off that aura or that look. Because you know how like on soccer pitches or in NBA courts they have that weird uh image on the court where it's like laying down like if you go to the court, but if you're watching it on TV, it looks like it's standing.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm just easily
yeah, they.
amused.
I mean, yeah, and again, like those things are. Some people really like them, some people don't, and that's yeah, again, that's fine. Like that's the beauty of professional wrestling. You don't have to like everything. Some things aren't going to be in your wheelhouse. Um, and so you know, just enjoy what you enjoy and power through what you don't.
Yep. Um. So you want to close it out with your thoughts on Impact? Hard to Kill?
I will. Um,
Because I was unable to watch it.
yeah. So Tyler is the one now that's behind because being a good host, I watched Hard to
Oh,
Kill.
sorry. I'm sorry. I watched 8 hours of Japanese wrestling.
Well, there, I think we're even.
I don't think so.
Um, yeah, I think we're even. Um, Hard to Kill. First and foremost, I think one of the big things that stands out for this pay per view is the fact that the main event, the big main event that Impact storylines were pointing toward, was the six-man tag match between Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns against more or less the Bullet Club. But Alex Shelley had to be pulled from the match, and so his replacement ended up being Moose, which is really interesting because a week prior to Hard to Kill was Genesis, and the main event of Genesis. I mean, they had kind of like their Super X Cup and some other things on that card. The card was highlighted by the main event, which was an I Quit match between Moose and Willie Mack. And Moose dominated the match. Was about to take Mack out, and Rich Swann comes in, makes the save, and Rich basically looks at Moose and he tells him, "I'll give you what you want. I'll give you your title shot." And Moose literally just looks at Rich. He's like, "That's all I wanted. I quit." He walks out of the ring. So there's a lot of bad blood right now between Moose and Swann, but Moose is inserted into the six-man tag match, so it just adds this unique extra dynamic between Swann and Sabin and Moose, where Rich and Chris have been fighting together against the Bullet Club, and now you have Moose who's been going at Swann. Is he going to stay? Is he going to turn for his own gain? What's going to happen? So you had that even before the card started, um, which I thought was pretty interesting to see. And then on the pre-show, we have Josh Alexander of the North fighting against Brian Myers. Myers gets the win. I didn't watch that match. I didn't see it. So um, Hard to Kill opens. I guess the last thing, as far as significance on like the Hard to Kill preview, is the fact that Madison Rayne announces her retirement from wrestling. I think that was like an across the board.
Oh
um,
no. Oh no.
Tyler, tell me your thoughts on Madison Rayne's retirement from the booth.
Oh, from the booth or just in general?
Both.
Uh, I mean, as a watcher of the only, or as a watcher of the only, I can't say that. As a, as a watcher of the early 2010s TNA, and that was like, one of my favorite promotions at the time. She was part of the Beautiful People, and you know, as a wrestler, I didn't mind her. I didn't think she was the
Beautiful
best.
people, the beautiful people.
Didn't think she was the best, but I mean, didn't think she was the worst. I mean, her and Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, like they're kind of like the same person to me, but like, I mean, I know the difference between them, but they're not the best wrestlers, but they get eyeballs on the screen, even though like either being sexy or just being like bitches. But so, but like she was just from that era of women's wrestling that was like kind of like other than Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, and like you know, especially on TNA at that time, like they weren't like they wouldn't be good now, but they kind of led the way. Um, but I'm glad her and her. I mean, hopefully their marriage is awesome and everything like that. But her and her stooge husband, Josh Matthews, I've always hated him. I don't get the appeal of him. I thought he was crap as a backstage announcer on SmackDown or whatever. And yeah, and obviously I'm looking forward to it. Having Matt Stryker there and D'Lo Brown. You know, I wish we could see D'Lo like shaking his head like while he's talking. But doing the D'Lo shake. But no, I mean that was honestly one of the reasons why I couldn't get into Impact was their announcing team. And like I know I said probably said earlier, but I like Don Callis. As an announcer, I thought like when he was on there a couple of times, it was pretty good, but it was just never consistent.
And so,
Sorry, it
Tyler,
kind of just went into like I know you asked me what my thoughts was Madison Rain, but
no,
I,
you're
I had
good.
to
I
say
said
Josh
that so I
Matthews.
could. No, you're fine. I said that mostly so I could finish chewing the candy cane that was in my mouth. Um, that obviously that leads into the start of the pay per view, and we have a brand new announced team for Impact: D'Lo Brown, Matt Striker. I know I sent a message to Tyler when I saw that. I'm pretty excited. I think Matt Striker is a great professional wrestler, and I love and if you go back and you watch this show, whether you do the right thing and you buy it through Impact or you do the wrong thing and just stream it online, um, I understand if you do the second option, but as much as possible, support the wrestlers. Anyway, um, I I appreciate the fact that Stryker is just so he's just so rich of wrestling history and tradition,
It kind of
and the way
reminds.
that he links things,
I was gonna say it kind of reminds
people
me.
and places. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sorry for cutting you out. I thought you were stopping, but yeah, he kind of reminds me of like a Joey Styles or Mike Tenay, like a guy that's always trying like
Man, I
knows
love Mike Tenay.
yeah knows every hold, like knows every wrestling move, and but also like can give you like it's kind of like what Kevin Kelly does, also provides you history if these those
Right.
two guys have it as well. But I'll let you continue. Sorry.
And well, no, you're good. And I think that Matt Striker does a good job of even being able to tell stories in the history. Like, okay, this guy was trained by these people, so it influences his moves and his hold set and how he does things. Or he held these titles in these places, and even like being able to just show like several moves throughout the night where um, talking about like okay, like this move was created by Dusty Rhodes. This move was created by Mick Foley. This move was created by so and so, like paying homage to professional wrestling. I know in our first episode or at some point we talked about, or maybe we did or didn't, I don't know, but like a lot of people look at that match between the Young Bucks and FTR back at the last AEW pay-per-view, and a lot of people love that match because in a way part of the story that that match told was just this love letter to tag team wrestling and this homage and the way that they paid respects to so many classic tag teams and tag team matches throughout the years. Matt Striker can do that in the way that he commentates a match, and so that's really cool. So we're pretty excited about that pairing moving forward. I'm really excited to see how they do on Impact. It would be tomorrow as we're talking, but today, if you're listening, um, so Matt Striker, D'Lo Brown are your announcers. First match on the card is Tanil Dashwood and Caleb with a K against Rosemary and Crazy Steve
Oh
with a
man,
K. Um,
Emma's
you
on
know,
Impact.
no, Emma's not on
Shut
Impact.
up.
Tanil
Uh,
Tanil Dashwood is on Impact,
all right, I gotta start. I gotta
and
start watching it.
um, and she is without the bubbles and the weird dance move. So she
Yeah, but
definitely has that attitude and that swagger.
she was doing
Um,
that like when she came back.
right.
But yeah,
Um,
I love her.
but we get a good match back and forth. I didn't know that this Caleb could wrestle. That's on me. But good back and forth, some kind of intergender stuff happening. Not super major, but there you are seeing. It's not like it's not like a mixed tag match that you see in like an AEW or a WWE where it's like okay, men wrestle the men, women wrestle the women. Um, One of the high spots in the match is Tennille has a bottle of hairspray. She's trying to use it. The referee catches her. And then Crazy Steve spits green mist in her eyes. And then later in the match, Rosemary spits green mist in Caleb with a K's eyes. And Decay get the win over Caleb and Tennille Dashwood. I
Lame.
was about to ask. I was about to ask you your thoughts, but you didn't watch the show. So um,
You just told me Emma lost, and that's
again, Emma does not
I
exist.
don't care.
The next
T-
match is a
t-
six man tag, old school rules, where we have Tommy Dreamer and Rhino teaming with cousin Jake against the newly formed faction Violent by Design, which features Eric Young, Diener, and Joe Doring. And I kind of thought that this match was really interesting in the sense that later on you have a barbed wire match. So you already kind of have like one no DQ hardcore rules match, and then this one was another just like hardcore no rules. Just kind of your classic. Okay, Rhino and Tommy are on the card, so let's do some ECW style stuff and get these boys a payday. The one thing I will say that I really appreciated from this match, I think obviously um, there's a great future in this cousin Jack kid, or cousin Jake. Sorry, I read the graphic I'm looking at incorrectly. Cousin Jake has a good potential to be something really good in the future, as well as Diener. Um, One of the things I did like though, from a production standpoint, is when you're watching these like multi-man tag matches. Obviously, it's really hard to keep an eye on everything that's going on around the ring. Normally, the camera focuses. You get your shot of like two guys wrestling, and then the other four are in various parts of the ring or around the ring, and you don't know fully what's happening. And I will say, I give props to Impact because they cut at one point because there's three groups of two wrestling in and around the ring, and Impact is showing you all three. They have three different cameras, and each camera is on one set of guys, and so you see literally everything that's happening while when it cuts from the one screen to the three, Matt and Tilo stay on what that original main screen was, but you still see the action of what's happening with everybody else in the match. I thought that was really brilliant. I thought that was really cool because you don't see that in these multi-man matches. Um, so that was a really, really, really sweet thing to see. Um, the finish to this match comes with Young and he hits Jake with a hockey mask. Yep, and Violent by Design get the win over Dreamer, Rhino, and Jake. Excuse me, I had to take a drink of my drink there. So the match puts over Violent by Design as a new faction moving forward. It'll be interesting to see what happens there because Jake was, Jake and I believe Diener were the two that were kind of connected together. Um, so it'd be interesting to see how that storyline moves going forward. Um, Anything stand out from you and what I said about that, or do you just want me to keep going?
Just keep going.
Next
I,
match
I'll inter-
on.
Sorry, I'll interject if I want to say something.
Okay, sounds good. Next match on the card was the Knockouts Tag Team Tournament Final between Nevea and Havoc and Fire and Flava. Fire and Flava, of course, being Kira Hogan and Tasha Steeles. I thought this was a really good match, probably one of the better matches on the card. Um, Obviously, you have two completely opposing styles here: Havoc and Nevea, the larger, the more powerful team, um, whereas Hogan and Steeles, the smaller, the quicker. And it was just a really unique, it was a really good blending there of those pairs. Fire and Flava end up getting the win. Really solid match. Like I said, I think probably one of the best matches on the card for the night. And To crown the newly formed, reinstated tag team champions are Gail Kim and the aforementioned Madison Rain come and crown the newly won Impact Knockout Tag Team Champions as a cool kind of passing of the torch moment for the Impact Women's Wrestling division.
It's
The
not really
next
a
match, go ahead.
yeah, it's not really a surprise when you said this match was probably the best match of the night because from what I've seen, like just on Reddit and everything, Impact's women's division has probably been one of their strong points of the entire year, and probably like one of the best worldwide. Worldwide.
Yeah, I I would agree. I think as far as all across the board, as far as women's divisions, Impact just has they've got a lot of solid things happening, and now reintroducing their women's titles to the mix, just gives more ladies a chance to come in and play an impact in the show. Next up, we get the Super X Cup winner, Ace Austin, who, like I said, at Genesis won the Super X Cup tournament. Um, Now he doesn't have a match on the card, but he comes out and he's touting his championship. He's holding this trophy that looks like it came from a $2 store, and he's demanding a match on the Hard to Kill pay per view. He wants a match. He wants a match. Well, Scott Diamore comes out and he's like, "Okay, you want a match? I got a guy who's always ready." And the music hits, and surprise debut, Matt Cardona comes out for this impromptu match against Ace Austin. Um, Cardona plays all the hits, and then with Ace Austin was Madman Fulton. Fulton comes in, breaks up the match before Cardona can get the pin. So Cardona wins his Impact debut by disqualification. After the match, we see, like I said, we see Cardona play all the hits. He hits all his big moves, and then he just kind of leaves Austin laying out there a little bit. Um, that Rough Rider looked pretty gnarly, and Matt Cardona back in Impact, or back on the wrestling planet, back on the I can't think of what word I want to say, but he's back. He had a really mini run there with AEW for a hot second, and then he disappeared. And so it's like, okay, what's he gonna do next? Um, I think Impact is a really good spot for him to land, especially with Brian Myers being there. Those two are really close. They have their podcast as well, which is excellent. Um, I'm excited to see what Cardona does in Impact moving forward. What do you think about the original bro?
Uh, I think with him, he's just kind of like his time was just screwed over. Like I feel like I hope he's able to get like a run, you know, and impact that he deserves. But I don't think he'll ever reach like his height during like broski, long, during all that stuff with the YouTube and like the internet championship and being Zack Ryder and but you know it's, it's always good to see someone you've liked for a long time continue to wrestle and potentially show what he can bring to the table.
Woo woo woo. You
Hype,
know it.
bros.
Don't you even dare.
Hype.
The next match, dude, Mojo Rawley's a stooge and a sellout, and he freaking sucks.
Oh, dude, he's
Next match on
awesome.
this card. Next match on this card. We're not even giving that stooge time on my freaking podcast. My podcast. Mojo Rawley can get the F out like freaking Federation, as far as I'm concerned. Next match on the card is a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Chris Bay versus Rohit Raju versus the champion Manic. And obviously, the big thing, storyline wise, we were like, Manic is TJP, but how are we going to figure it out? And so, um, they wrestle. It's a really great three-man match. At one point, that I think it was Raju ends up taking the mask off of Manic, and he throws it to the ring. Um, Manic covers his head with his hood, but then he takes his hood off, and his face has been painted the whole time. So I'm not sure why he covered his face at first if his face was painted still. Um, Manic is obviously wrestling with a lot of the moves and similarities as what you would see in a TJP match. Um, and lots of really good action, lots of really good counters and things near the end. Um, and at the end, you see Manic come in, he slides in, um, rolls up Raju, gets the pinfall victory. runs out. He saves the title, and at this point, Raju's like, "I'm like 99.99999% sure that you're TJP, but your face was painted, so I don't know." And um, on commentary, you basically have Matt Striker saying, "This is TJP. How can it not be TJP? Look at his mannerisms, look at his moves." And D'Lo's like, "Well, that's Manic." And so um, we'll see how the X Division picture moves forward from that. But as of right now, Manic is still your champion. Next on the card, we have the Knockouts Championship match between the Virtuosa Diana Perrazzo against Taya Valkyrie. I thought this was a really good match. Really helped to cement Diana as the cream of the crop of the Impact Women's Division, and the cream of the crop is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. I think that for whatever reason she wasn't able to fully hit her stride when she was in NXT. Um, but I think that she's back at a good place where she can show off who she is and why she's one of the best in the world as a women's wrestler. Um, I thought that her and Taya told a really good story. It seemed like Deanna was very tactical in the moves that she did, why she did the things that she did. She ends up getting Taya to submit. She couldn't physically tap because she was in like a double arm lock kind of maneuver. Um, whereas throughout the match, like Deanna attacked one of Taya's arms and her knee, so she just did a lot of damage. Got to the point where she just couldn't, Valkyrie couldn't take it anymore. She had to submit. Purrazzo wins by submission to retain her title and really cementing herself after defeating the 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 longest reigning knockouts champion in the history of Impact Wrestling. Deanna's really cementing herself as truly the virtuosa and the woman to beat in that knockouts division for the year to come.
Are we
From
look?
there, I got nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll be looking forward to that.
I will too, for sure. From there, we get the match of the night. This match has been talked on the internet since it happened. We have Ethan Page fighting the Karate Man. Now, Tyler, I don't know if you've heard anything about this match. I don't know if you've seen anything about this match. I've seen everything from this match is supposed to be a play at cinematic matches to Ethan Page had a version of this match and he filmed it and he had it edited and everything was ready to go. And then Impact was like, we're not going with this version, we're going with our own version. And they kind of turned it into this big joke. But um, the fact remains that this was a real thing that happened, and it was kind of funny, but also just kind of like, what am I watching? Um, just very, very, again, and if you're looking at this match through the lens of this is a like, to poke fun and to take a jab at cinematic matches that have been happening over the last few years. If you look at this match from that point of view and that lens point, this match is hilarious because you can very clearly see that this was filmed in front of a green screen, and obviously it's Ethan Page fighting his alter ego, the Karate Man. So just the way that you try to to tape that is, I don't even know how to explain it. You just have to go watch it. The finish comes to this match where the Karate Man rips out the heart of Ethan Page, and he walks away from Ethan Page with the heart in his hand, and blood is like on his running down his wrist, and then you see a shot of Ethan Page, and he's supposed to be laying there lifeless with his heart just ripped out of his chest. Um, that was the finish of the match, and I was trying to find, I could not find it. But Ethan Page himself, the whole reason that part of this is a big, there's a lot of questions concerning this match. Um, is Ethan Page himself got on Reddit and he made a comment about this match and how it was portrayed on the pay per view. Um, have you heard anything about that, Tyler?
No,
Okay, so
I've been looking up Ethan Page, and I think he's just one of those guys I've always heard of but never seen. Trying to look him up, see if I've ever seen him, but I don't think so.
well, do yourself a favor when we finish up here. Go watch that match specifically, and this is a like a full post that Ethan Page himself made after watching the match. Because like I said, obviously he filmed it, and then he himself apparently had a version that he had like edited and put together. And then, but he didn't see the something happened to where he didn't see the final product until Hard to Kill aired. So this is a comment straight from Ethan Page,
He's
and this is
fat.
kind of what.
He's fat.
And so this is what Ethan Page said. No, he's not fat anymore. He's in really good shape.
No, I was
But
making a
this is
joke. Like that's what he said. Like the
oh um. So here we go. These are his comments from watching the match live on the pay per view. From the afterlife. I'm going to take a full blown break from social media. I'll be staying active on my personal Patreon as much as I can and probably go in this group too because I love the Fig Life and you guys. I think he's talking about like Cardona and Myers'
figures,
podcast page. Um,
wrestling figures, or
through yeah
whatever.
through Reddit. Yes. The post continues. He says, "But man, last night sucked. I'm so embarrassed with how Impact lazily edited that segment last night and forced it to be a joke. I felt the thought of the same guys fighting each other was comedy enough, and the more serious we took it, the better the reaction would be. But because I left the company, they lied to my face and just did what they wanted the whole time. I'm sorry if any of my fans paid for the pay per view and felt cheated. I honestly feel the free version I gave away was made with more love, care, and attention to detail. Pause. I will say I am interested to see that version because I've not seen it yet. All I have seen is the hard to kill version, which I am still kind of mind blown over. To continue with Ethan Page's quote, sadly, I have no control over the creative or final product, and the editor refused to send it to me beforehand. So I saw it live with you guys and was surrounded by my family, all scratching their heads at that high school project level delivery on a pay per view. I pray people know I didn't edit that hot garbage. I actually begged Impact not to even have Karate Man on TV. I only wanted it for my YouTube channel. But we don't write the shows. We just get the scripts and do our best. I don't know what else to say. Breaks my heart this company refuses to respect its talent or its fan base on a regular basis. I tried. Oh well, life goes on. That door is closed. Now let's focus on what's next. So, all that being said, apparently Ethan Page is a free agent. His contract ended with Impact at the beginning of the year. And there are rumors and speculations about what's next for Ethan Page, where he's going to go. I know that Impact tried to give a unique ending to the tag team of the North. I know personally, and I think Tyler, you would agree with me when I say you would like to see the North in AEW, or you would like to at least see somehow Ethan Page and his tag team partner of Josh Alexander be able to go together somewhere and still tag team together. I think that there's a lot of great like fantasy booking matches that can come from those guys being in a different company. But this match, Ethan Page versus Karate Man, um, I watched a man's heart be ripped out of his chest, and that is professional wrestling in 2021. that I
Uh,
would say you have to go watch this for the what the fudge moment, it would be that.
yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. I don't. It's not. I don't know. I would kind of like want to go in blind though, because if I didn't, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to it now because it's a parody of it. But I'm surprised. If he's not even. I guess Impact wasted so much money on it. They're like, we don't care if he's not on the roster. We're just want to put it on there because
Right.
any other company would just be like, eh. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean,
So
it's
go ahead.
interesting and it's cool. Like when he says free version, that means like we can see it. Like if there's one on YouTube or something like that.
I would imagine so. I'm gonna try to look now to see if there's something along those lines. But when he said free version, it does make it sound like
He posted it somewhere.
there's what his version of the match was supposed to, or what he thought they were going to. Now I can't remember what his actual name, like his real name is. So um
Oh,
I'll have to.
well, anyway, I would like to see it if it's available. A video version of it, and kind of see, because who knows? Probably like his version is probably terrible. You never know, but we don't know. But it should be interesting because it's like what you said. It's a parody of that. The all that stuff, but all that movie like wrestling matches. But it seems like since the wrestling Stampede, like when's the last time you saw a match like that? Been almost like 6 months.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about? Wait, which match are you talking about? The Wrestling Stampede.
Like the parody of it. Like there's like only been like how many matches have that been in? Like 4 or 5?
Well, as far as like cinematic matches,
Yeah, cinematic. Yep, that's where.
so I obviously Matt Hardy's done one with
Oh
TNA and
yeah,
WWE.
yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Hello.
Cinematic matches that didn't involve Matt Hardy. The one that comes to mind is Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, where Randy burned the house down. Um, so I mean, you see them. I don't know. I know that like for a while, like right in the heart of quarantine, when it's like wrestling companies were like, what do we do? Because we can't be around people and we have to do a completely different thing for our shows. They tried to sprinkle one into their pay per view, but I know they were trying really hard to probably be like, we can't just turn everything into a cinematic match or turn a bunch of these things into cinematic matches because we can't lose the magic on this. So we haven't seen, I don't think, with the exception of this Ethan Page versus the Karate Man, we probably haven't seen one since WrestleMania. So it's been, solid 8, 9 months, well, 9, 10 months, um, which I think it's good. That's the kind of match they have their place in time, and as long as they're sprinkled in throughout the year, where you're not having like, you know, oh, here comes the Hell in the Cell pay per view. I guess we're gonna have a Hell in the Cell match. Like cinematic, they have their place in time, and um, this apparently would have been a good place and time for it, but apparently it just did not turn out to what it was supposed to. And it's really interesting that that match was it was the filling between the sandwich of the Impact Women's Championship and then the main event, which was the six-man tag match between the Bullet Club, and I'm saying the Bullet Club against Rich Swann, Moose, and Chris Sabin, because obviously Sabin, Moose, and Rich Swann are introduced first, and then the next after so basically it's like here are the TNA, here's the good guys. They come out first, which is interesting to me that you wouldn't have them come out second, especially with Rich Swann getting like the most important introduction being the Impact champion on an Impact pay per view as the main event. But Impact guys come out first, and then the Good Brothers, Carl and Anderson, or Carl and Doc, they come out, and they're both wearing Bullet Club gear. So it's really interesting. This is the first time that you've seen. Now, obviously, like we've seen the references. And Stryker talks about it. We've seen the hand gestures, and we've seen the signals of this group, this faction that they used to be a part of. Now, he doesn't call it by name. He doesn't use the too sweet. He doesn't say Bullet Club. But he's like, you've seen it. You know it. It's iconic. Um, so Gallows and Anderson come out, and they're wearing Bullet Club stuff. Um, and then Kenny comes out, and he's wearing um his normal, like, well, not normal, well, like, yeah, he's wearing well, like, pants, because he doesn't wear trunks, but he's wearing his wrestling attire that you would see him wear in AEW, but he's wearing a Bullet Club Halloween T-shirt. So literally, it's like the Bullet Club logo mixed with a pumpkin, and so it's really interesting. Like, these guys are on Impact Wrestling. They're not concerned about using the Bullet Club name. They're not concerned about all these different potential cease and desists between New Japan or WWE. It's like, F it, as far as we're concerned. Like, this is who we are. This is what we do. And so, um, you know, with the exception of just flat out calling them the Bullet Club, these guys were wearing everything. And I know that that's caused a ruckus. That's stuff I'm going to read into here in a little bit. Um, but this six-man match was really good. Obviously, um, Don Callis gave Kenny his own introduction, and then we see a lot of good action back and forth between Gallows and Anderson, and Omega versus Sabin, Moose, and Rich Swann. Lots of back and forth, this and that, um, and a big factor going into this match with Moose being inserted into it was, is Moose going to be with us? Is Moose going to be for Impact Wrestling, or is Moose going to go into business for himself and screw Rich Swann, and give everybody a chance to, give basically the Bullet Club a chance to win? Um, and Moose stayed true to Impact Wrestling, and there was a segment earlier on in the pay-per-view where we saw that play out between that team of Moose and Sabin and Swan, because they're like, how can we trust you? Especially Rich. Rich was like, how can I trust you when you've been going against me and this and that? And um, Moose is like, look, I played on NFL teams where I loved my teammates, and I played on NFL teams where I hated my teammates, and all of these things. And oh my gosh, that's incredible. Um, but Moose was like, here's the thing: when the whistle blew, the guys that were on my team were on my team, and I played for them, and we played together. And so Moose was like, so if you think I'm going against you tonight in the ring, you're crazy. And Moose proved true to his word, and I give him props for that, because he very easily could have been like, screw you, Rich Swan, I'm going into business for myself, because I want what you have. I want to be the TNA and Impact unified, united, undisputed world champion. But he didn't do that. He fought for Impact. There were some big moments in the match. One thing that sticks out to me is the fact that Moose ran to the top rope with Kenny Omega and performed a Spanish Fly. That was incredible. Lots of back and forth. The finish comes to the match. Lots of back and forth between the world champions, between Swan and Omega. Omega hits the V trigger and the one winged angel to pin Rich Swan. And so the pay per view closes. At, in a sense, lots of chaos has ensued, because now you have the AEW World Champion pinning the Impact World Champion on an Impact pay per view. And the show closes with the quote unquote Bullet Club with Don Callis celebrating on the ramp as the show closes. And that was the main event. There's also a storyline in this main event that I forgot to add. There was another cutaway in between matches where Don Callis interacts with Moose, and he basically tells Moose, I see you're up for a contract extension soon. If you go into business with us, I'm going to make sure you get an Impact title shot, and you do what you get your fair, what you deserve. And Moose is basically like, look, Don, like, I'm not doing it the crooked way. So Moose really, in this moment, proved himself to be a company guy. We'll see how that plays out. But lots of extra added flavor with the end of this pay per view and the fact that the AEW World Champion has just pinned the Impact World Champion on an Impact pay per view. You have to imagine that at some point after Moose Swan, you're going to see Omega versus Swan. Is it going to be title versus title? We don't know. The
Man,
next,
sorry.
the next, the the next pay per view that AEW or not AEW, sorry. The next pay per view that Impact is promoting will be in, I believe, April, and it's called Rebellion. And a big thing that a lot of people, and this is the last thing I'll say before I give you a chance to talk, um, a lot of, a big thing that a lot of people were noticing about the Rebellion logo is the fact that the Rebellion logo, yeah, it just says Impact Rebellion, and then at the bottom there's a star, and it's got the Omega symbol in the star. So a lot of people are starting to speculate. Okay, so obviously Kenny Omega is going to be involved in some way, shape, or form with the Rebellion pay per view, but that star, does that mean that we're also going to maybe see Kota Ibushi? We don't know. That's purely speculation. That's an alleged thing that I read on the internet that I don't even know if it's true or not. But it remains to be seen the fact that the next big Impact pay per view has the symbol for Omega, because obviously Kenny uses that symbol for himself as well, but the Omega symbol itself is in the Rebellion pay per view logo. Really, really interesting stuff moving forward with Impact, and we'll see what happens tonight when Impact airs on Access TV. And that was hard to kill.
And Twitch TV. Um, do we all know the real heavyweight champion on on Impact is wearing the white belt Moose? Like, I don't know why Rich Swan is their champion. Like, isn't their X Division pretty much their championship? Seems like. But I don't think like obviously Kenny's gonna be on the next pay per view, but there's no way Ibushi's gonna be on Impact. There's no way, no way. Like that reunion if it's gonna be on America TV, it's gonna be in AEW or it's gonna happen in New Japan. I think that's like wishful thinking. Like there's no way they would have a reunion on Impact.
You know, I I don't disagree with you, but the fact that at one point, and I know that the relationship wasn't the best, and it obviously turned sour for a lot of reasons, but the fact that Impact and New Japan did have a working relationship at one point, and you do have, I mean, there's a lot of weird pieces that are connecting in this. Right. So there's a lot of weird connecting points here that could potentially make things happen. Chris Bay, who was in that X Division triple threat for the X Division championship, he just made it to the semifinals of the Super J Cup for New Japan last year. The fact that Impact and New Japan had that working relationship a long time ago. Now I know that things didn't end well there, but there's a possibility of connections being made there. And then obviously you have all these guys that made big names in New Japan that helped start AEW. There's weird connections there. You still have Lance Archer and John Moxley who are active wrestlers in New Japan. They just haven't been able to go over there due to the pandemic. There's just a lot of weird connections that could potentially happen in this new year, the way that the wrestling world has been wide open and will continue to be made open. And I think that in the midst of this time with the pandemic, I know that we're getting vaccines rolled out and things are changing and we're starting to open things back up a little bit. But should we? I don't know. That's a completely different discussion, not for you and I to have because we're not the smart people to have that kind of discussion. But even looking at talking about our show today, and you were like, well, there's no breaking news. The fact that WWE is like, well, here's WrestleMania for the next 3 years in Tampa Bay and Dallas and Hollywood, and we're going to try to have WrestleMania in front of fans um, is kind of a big deal. But I think as this year specifically progresses, and we see wrestling companies trying to still open up safely to have fans back in the venues, I think that some promotions are going to get to this point, and I'm not going to call it desperate because it's not desperation, but it's going to get to a point where it's like, okay, how can we generate the most revenue for our product, and how can we do it in a way where everybody benefits? And if that means that we do some partnerships and some unique things that we don't normally see in the professional wrestling world, if everybody wins, if New Japan partners with AEW and it brings these, I would imagine there's a handful of fans, probably more than just a handful, but there's a big group of AEW fans who might have never even seen New Japan wrestling before. If that brings all new eyes, all new money, all new potential into people watching New Japan Pro Wrestling because those two groups get together, I mean, look at what it's already done with Impact. I'm really interested to see what the Impact buy rate for this pay per view is. Um, Anything can happen. And I'm trying not to get my hopes up because I am kind of excited, and I think that it would be really, really wild if something happened like that. I know Okada has even been talking about in interviews how he would love to see this like super show pay-per-view style thing. Matt Stryker even mentioned that in the Impact broadcast on Saturday. Maybe I'm pulling my own pipe dreams because I want to see, and I have been thinking and dreaming about what it would look like to see a like legitimate super show that featured the top wrestling talent from around the world, regardless of their promotion. Um, I would also love to see like a world's championship tournament where you had like the champion of the universe, not Universal Champion from WWE, but you literally took like the top champions from these, like from the large promotions, so like New Japan and Impact and WWE and AEW and Ring of Honor, whoever. Like you pick the top so many companies, and it's like, okay, we're gonna do a tournament. And I know that that would be really tough to pull off. That's just a pipe dream I would love to see happen at some point in my lifetime. But I think we could be potentially getting closer to that with these potential partnerships coming together with these companies working side by side, being like, okay, we have to try to maximize profits and revenue as best as possible, and we can't do that with fans. So how can we bring other fans into our show without physically having them in the arena so that we can still all have a payday?
We shall
And
see, but I I just don't think it's going to be happening, especially right now with all the stuff that's going on with COVID and all the restrictions. Um, I mean, something like this, it seems like the building process or the starting blocks have is already beginning to get to that point eventually. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see because who knows? Because hopefully it'll be better. Because I remember last time New Japan did something like this was with Ring of Honor and yeah, it was cool to finally see. I mean, we didn't. I mean, I don't know about you, but I never got the opportunity to see them live. But it just seemed like majority of the time when New Japan wrestled against Ring of Honor guys, it was mostly New Japan guys always winning. It just felt like that was like one of the agreements they had. And I'm not saying that's what happened all the time, but for me, it just seemed like majority of the time that New Japan guys was going to win. But
right,
and so like I just don't feel like it's cool that you know, everyone's friends and everything like that, like Omega, Ibushi, Okada, Tanahashi, everyone like that. It's cool that they're able like to be friends, but at the end of the day, if New Japan doesn't want to do it, there's nothing they can do about that. So luckily, Impact's able to do something because I feel like you're only going to have those companies that have the most to lose. Like with Impact, like why not? This is probably the first time people has been talking about Impact for a while, other than like them constantly switching TV networks and AAA down in Mexico just because they want a presence in America by having Kenny as their champion. While like
right.
New Japan is they're kind of because I'm feeling like they're testing I feel like they're probably only going to be do something with AEW because I feel at this point, if they want to do something, they could start something on their own. But it's going to be hard to do that just because their main their main focus is Japan, and it will be. Like they can always start a United States promotion, but it's to me if they do that, it's just going to be like a Ring of Honor light, Like they're not going to have their main guys constantly over here. They're going to, like you're going to see them occasionally, or you're going to see like the guy that's like Tanahashi will probably if they had something like that will probably be a main guy over here. But while in Japan he's still kind of like the third or I guess second guy over there when it comes to faces. But yeah, sorry, I just got off a little ways. I mean, I could see it happening, but I can't. But it would have to be in a scenario where it works out for everybody.
For sure. I don't disagree with that. I'm just really hopeful. And like I said, I don't know if it'll ever happen or not, but if it does, I'll be pretty pumped about it.
But I think that would do it. We talked long enough. It's been almost 3 hours.
We made our own Raw.
Oh, that's not a good thing, Mark. But we're going to try to get back in here. Watch Monday Night Raw. I've been seeing some interesting stuff on the web. With Randy Orton. So looks like we're gonna have enough to talk about. When we release the episode, hopefully on Wednesday. Impact as well. I'm gonna be looking forward to it because hopefully, like, it's gonna be my first Impact in a while. Probably gonna watch it on Twitch. Um, but yeah, Mark, anything you want to say?
I think we've talked enough.
All right, we'll see you guys Wednesday. Thank you for listening.